The silent city of El Mirador. Imagine walking through jungle mist toward towering pyramids that dwarf even Tikal, monuments built by a civilization that vanished without explanation. Your footsteps echo along ancient stone causeways that stretch endlessly into the green darkness, connecting massive plazas where thousands once gathered in ceremony and celebration. Before you rises La Danta, a pyramid so immense that it contains more stone than the Great Pyramid of Giza, yet most of the world has never heard its name. This is El Mirador, a sprawling metropolis that once housed perhaps 100,000 people, a city that fell silent centuries before the classic Maya period even began. No wars are recorded in its final years, no disasters documented in surrounding regions, yet this magnificent civilization simply walked away from the largest pyramid complex in the pre-Columbian Americas. What could cause an entire people to abandon their ancestral home at the height of their power? Historical context. Deep in the rainforests of northern Guatemala, El Mirador represents one of archaeology's most profound puzzles. This ancient Maya city flourished during the late pre-classic period, roughly from 600 BC to 150 AD. While other Maya cities were still developing their characteristic features, El Mirador had already achieved architectural sophistication that would not be seen again in Mesoamerica for centuries. The city's builders created something unprecedented in the ancient world. El Mirador was not merely a single settlement, but the heart of an interconnected network of communities linked by raised stone causeways called Sakbayab. These ancient highways, some stretching over 20 miles, connected dozens of smaller cities in a web of commerce and culture. The Maya word Sakbay means white road, and these limestone pathways gleamed like pale ribbons through the jungle canopy. At its peak around 100 BC, El Mirador may have been the largest city in the Americas. The La Danta Pyramid Complex rises 230 feet above the jungle floor, its base covering more ground than 2 city blocks. Archaeological evidence suggests that El Mirador was ruled by powerful dynasties who commanded resources from across the Maya world. Jade from distant valleys, obsidian from highland Mexico, and shells from far coasts all found their way to El Mirador's markets and temples. Yet for all its grandeur, El Mirador's time was limited. By 150 AD, construction projects slowed, then stopped altogether. The causeways that once bustled with traders grew quiet. Within a few generations, the jungle began its patient work of reclaiming what humans had built. Discovery. El Mirador's rediscovery reads like an adventure novel. The city's existence was first documented in 1926, when a chicle collector named Anacleto Emilio stumbled upon massive stone structures while searching for trees in the remote Petén rainforest. But Emilio's discovery remained largely forgotten, buried in obscure reports that few scholars ever read. It wasn't until 1978 that archaeologist Richard Hansen first set foot in El Mirador during a survey expedition. What Hansen found defied everything the archaeological community thought they knew about Maya civilization. The site was enormous, far larger than the famous ruins of Tikal, and clearly much older than the great classic period cities. Hansen's initial surveys revealed hundreds of structures spread across more than 25 square miles. But the jungle kept most of its secrets hidden beneath a green canopy so thick that many monuments remained invisible even from directly above. The real breakthrough came in 2012 with the application of LiDAR technology to the El Mirador region. Light detection and ranging uses aircraft-mounted lasers to penetrate jungle canopy and create precise three-dimensional maps of archaeological features. The results were stunning. LiDAR revealed that El Mirador was the center of an integrated urban landscape covering more than 650 square miles. The technology uncovered previously unknown pyramids, plazas, reservoirs, and defensive earthworks. Most remarkably, It confirmed the existence of a sophisticated network of raised causeways connecting El Mirador to satellite communities throughout the region. Some of these stone highways were over 6 miles long and 40 feet wide, engineering projects that rivaled anything built by ancient Rome. Ground investigations confirmed what the LiDAR data suggested. El Mirador was not simply abandoned, but systematically depopulated over several generations. Unlike cities destroyed by warfare, El Mirador showed signs of planned withdrawal. Valuable objects were removed, important buildings were sealed rather than destroyed, and the evacuation appeared orderly rather than panicked. Theories. What could cause the inhabitants of such a magnificent city to simply walk away? Scholars have proposed numerous theories to explain El Mirador's abandonment, each offering a different perspective on one of archaeology's most perplexing mysteries. The environmental collapse theory suggests that El Mirador fell victim to its own success. The city's massive population put enormous pressure on the surrounding environment. Deforestation for construction and agriculture may have disrupted local rainfall patterns, while soil erosion degraded the agricultural fields that fed the urban population. Some researchers point to evidence of drought conditions around 100 AD, arguing that climate change made the region uninhabitable for such a large population. Supporting this theory is evidence from lake cores and pollen samples, showing dramatic changes in forest composition during El Mirador's final centuries. The data suggests that much of the surrounding rainforest had been cleared for agriculture and construction, potentially creating an ecological crisis that the Maya could not overcome. A second theory focuses on political upheaval and social transformation. El Mirador's power may have been challenged by rising cities in other regions, particularly the growing influence of Tikal and other classic period centers. Some scholars argue that El Mirador's rulers were gradually marginalized as trade networks shifted and new political alliances formed across the Maya world. This political theory gains credence from the timing of El Mirador's decline, which coincides with the early development of the great classic period kingdoms. Perhaps El Mirador's inhabitants didn't abandon their city so much as they migrated to new centers of power and opportunity. A third possibility involves religious or spiritual factors. Maya cosmology emphasized cycles of creation and destruction, and it's possible that El Mirador's abandonment was a deliberate act of religious renewal. Some researchers note that many of the city's most important buildings were carefully sealed rather than simply left to decay, suggesting a ritualized abandonment rather than a panicked flight. More speculative theories have also emerged. Some researchers wonder whether El Mirador might have been affected by volcanic activity or seismic events that disrupted the city's complex water management systems. Others have suggested that epidemic disease, perhaps introduced through long-distance trade networks, could have devastated the population. Each theory has its strengths and weaknesses, but none fully explains why such a successful civilization would abandon its greatest achievement at the height of its power. Scientific investigations. Modern archaeological techniques are slowly unveiling El Mirador's secrets. Though the site's remote location and vast scale make comprehensive investigation a decades-long endeavor, Richard Hansen and his international team have employed cutting-edge technology to peer beneath centuries of jungle growth. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed complex water management systems that allowed El Mirador to thrive in an environment where seasonal droughts were common. The Maya engineered sophisticated reservoirs, canals, and filtration systems that captured and stored rainwater throughout the dry season. Some of these water management features show signs of damage or deliberate destruction in the city's final years. Ceramic analysis has provided crucial insights into El Mirador's chronology and cultural connections. Pottery styles show clear evolution over time, allowing archaeologists to track the city's development from its earliest settlements through its final abandonment. Remarkably, the ceramic record shows no evidence of violent destruction or rapid population decline. Instead, the pottery suggests a gradual reduction in activity over several generations. Excavations of residential areas have revealed a complex social hierarchy. Elite compounds feature elaborate decorations and imported luxury goods, while simpler dwellings suggest a large population of farmers, craftsmen, and laborers. The ratio of elite to common housing indicates that El Mirador supported a relatively large upper class, suggesting a prosperous society. Perhaps most intriguingly, recent excavations have uncovered caches of deliberately buried artifacts in several important buildings. These deposits contain valuable jade ornaments, obsidian blades, and ceramic vessels that appear to have been carefully placed and covered before abandonment. The practice suggests that El Mirador's inhabitants expected to return someday and wanted to preserve their most precious possessions. Carbon dating and stratigraphic analysis have refined the timeline of abandonment. Rather than a single moment of departure, the evidence suggests a process that unfolded over approximately 50 to 75 years. Different areas of the city were abandoned at different times, with the most important ceremonial centers maintained until the very end. Modern challenges. El Mirador faces numerous threats in the 21st century, challenges that mirror many of the environmental pressures that may have contributed to its ancient abandonment. The site lies within the Maya Biosphere Reserve, but illegal logging, cattle ranching, and agricultural encroachment continue to threaten both archaeological remains and the surrounding ecosystem. Climate change poses an increasingly serious risk to the region's delicate balance. Changing rainfall patterns and more frequent droughts stress the same environmental systems that supported ancient Maya civilization. Rising temperatures also accelerate the decay of organic materials and stone structures that have survived for nearly 2,000 years. The site's remote location, while protecting it from some forms of development, also makes conservation efforts extremely difficult and expensive. Supplies and equipment must be transported by helicopter or along dangerous jungle trails. The nearest road accessible to vehicles lies more than 40 miles away through some of Central America's most challenging terrain. Tourism presents both opportunities and risks for El Mirador's future. Increased visitor access could provide funding for conservation efforts and economic opportunities for local communities. However, uncontrolled tourism might also damage fragile archaeological remains and disrupt the pristine ecosystem that has protected the site for centuries. Local communities play a vital role in protecting El Mirador's future. Many residents of the region are descendants of the ancient Maya, maintaining cultural traditions and environmental knowledge that spans generations. Their involvement in conservation efforts ensures that traditional ecological wisdom is preserved alongside archaeological remains. Closing reflections. As mist rises from the jungle canopy at dawn, El Mirador emerges from shadow like a vision from a forgotten dream. The massive pyramids stand as silent sentinels over one of archaeology's greatest mysteries, monuments to human achievement and reminders of civilization's fragility. Walking among these ancient stones, we are confronted with fundamental questions about the nature of human societies and their relationship with the natural world. What lessons can we draw from El Mirador's story? Perhaps the city's abandonment speaks to the cyclical nature of human civilization, the way societies rise and fall, like the seasonal rhythms that governed Maya agricultural life. Or maybe El Mirador's fate warns us about the consequences of environmental exploitation, showing how even the most sophisticated civilizations can exceed the carrying capacity of their ecosystems. But El Mirador's silence also invites us to consider more hopeful possibilities. Perhaps its inhabitants didn't flee in desperation, but made a conscious choice to seek new opportunities elsewhere, carrying their knowledge and traditions to seed future achievements. The architectural innovations of El Mirador didn't disappear, but were transmitted to classic period cities that built upon this foundation. The mystery of El Mirador remains unsolved, hidden in jungle shadows and buried beneath centuries of accumulated earth and vegetation. Each new discovery adds pieces to the puzzle, but the complete picture continues to elude us. Why did 100,000 people walk away from their ancestral home? What combination of factors convinced an entire civilization to abandon its greatest achievement? These questions echo through the forest corridors where ancient Maya once walked, carried on the wind that whistles through partially collapsed temples and overgrown plazas. El Mirador keeps its secrets jealously, but perhaps that is as it should be. Some mysteries are meant to inspire wonder rather than provide easy answers. What do you think happened to the people of El Mirador? Was their abandonment a tragedy or a triumph of adaptive flexibility? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that continue to challenge our understanding of the human past. The blood-red cenotes of Chichen Itza. Imagine descending into sacred waters that have kept their secrets for over a millennium, where gold, jade, and human bones rest in eternal darkness. The limestone walls around you glow with an otherworldly blue-green light as you sink deeper into the sacred cenote of Chichen Itza, one of the most mysterious and terrifying religious sites in the ancient world. Here, beneath 60 feet of crystal-clear water, lie the remains of countless sacrificial victims, alongside treasures that once belonged to Maya kings and nobles. But recent underwater archaeology has uncovered something that challenges everything we thought we knew about these sacred pools. Deep within the cenote's hidden chambers, offerings have been discovered placed with impossible precision in locations that should have been unreachable to ancient divers. How did Maya priests navigate these treacherous underwater caves without modern diving equipment? What drove them to perform increasingly elaborate ceremonies in the cenote's hidden depths? And why do some artifacts appear to have been positioned using knowledge of underwater currents that the Maya supposedly never possessed? Historical context. The sacred cenote of Chichen Itza stands as one of the most significant religious sites in ancient Mesoamerica, a natural well that the Maya considered a gateway to the underworld. These circular pools, formed when limestone bedrock collapsed to expose underground rivers, were scattered throughout the Yucatan Peninsula like windows into the realm of the gods. But none held greater sacred importance than the great cenote at Chichen Itza. For over 1,000 years, from approximately 600 to 1500 AD, pilgrims journeyed from across the Maya world to witness ceremonies at this holy site. The cenote measured nearly 200 feet across and plunged over 60 feet to its murky bottom, its sheer walls rising like the walls of a natural cathedral. Maya priests believed these waters connected directly to the rain god Chayek, whose favor was essential for agricultural survival in the challenging environment of the Yucatan. Archaeological evidence suggests that different types of ceremonies took place at the cenote throughout its long history of use. During times of drought or political crisis, elaborate rituals involving human sacrifice were performed to appease the gods and ensure divine intervention. Victims, often children and young adults, were thrown into the cenote, along with precious offerings of gold, jade, obsidian, and incense. Spanish colonial records describe these ceremonies in vivid detail, though early chroniclers may have exaggerated the scale and frequency of human sacrifice for political purposes. The cenote's religious significance extended beyond simple sacrifice. Maya cosmology viewed these natural wells as portals where the boundaries between the human world and the supernatural realm became permeable. Water was considered the source of all life, and cenotes represented the ultimate connection to the life-giving forces of the universe. Priests who could successfully navigate these underwater spaces were believed to possess supernatural powers and direct communication with divine forces. By the time Spanish conquistadors arrived in the Yucatan, the great ceremonies at the sacred cenote had largely ceased, but local Maya communities continued to regard the site with reverence and fear. Colonial authorities attempted to suppress cenote rituals, but clandestine ceremonies continued well into the modern era, preserving ancient traditions that connected contemporary Maya to their ancestral past. Discovery. The modern rediscovery of the sacred cenotes treasures began with one of archaeology's most controversial figures, American consul Edward Herbert Thompson. In 1894, Thompson purchased the entire Chichen Itza site for $75. Driven by an obsession with proving that Spanish colonial accounts of cenote sacrifices were historically accurate rather than colonial propaganda, Thompson's methods were crude by today's standards, but revolutionary for his time. Using a steam-powered dredge, he began systematically excavating material from the cenote's bottom in 1904. His initial attempts yielded mostly mud, limestone fragments, and rotted organic matter, leading critics to dismiss his project as the fantasy of an amateur treasure hunter. But Thompson's persistence paid off dramatically. Over several years of dredging, his operation recovered thousands of artifacts: gold discs decorated with scenes of Maya warfare, jade ornaments carved with intricate hieroglyphs, copper bells, obsidian knives, and copal incense burners. Most significantly, Thompson's dredge brought up human skeletal remains that confirmed the Spanish accounts of human sacrifice. Not content with surface dredging, Thompson took the extraordinary step of learning deep-sea diving techniques, becoming one of the first archaeologists to personally explore an underwater site. Wearing a primitive diving helmet connected to surface air pumps, Thompson descended into the cenote's depths to recover artifacts that his dredge had missed. His diving expeditions revealed that many of the most valuable offerings had been placed in specific locations rather than simply thrown into the water. Thompson's work was interrupted by the Mexican Revolution and legal challenges to his ownership of the site, but his discoveries had already revolutionized understanding of Maya religion and ritual practice. However, his removal of artifacts to the United States created diplomatic tensions that lasted for decades and raised important questions about archaeological ethics and cultural patrimony. Modern underwater archaeology at the sacred cenote began in the 1960s, with more systematic and scientific approaches. Mexican archaeologists, using advanced diving equipment and underwater mapping techniques, revealed the true complexity of the site. Rather than a simple dumping ground for sacrificial offerings, the cenote showed evidence of careful placement and elaborate underwater ceremonies that had been completely unknown to earlier researchers. Theories. The discovery of precisely placed offerings in the cenote's deepest chambers has generated numerous theories about how ancient Maya priests accomplished these seemingly impossible underwater rituals. Each explanation offers different insights into Maya technological capabilities and religious practices. The breath-holding theory suggests that Maya priests developed extraordinary freediving skills that allowed them to reach depths of 60 feet or more without breathing apparatus. Some modern Maya communities in the Yucatan still practice traditional pearl diving techniques that involve holding breath for extended periods. Proponents argue that ancient priests could have used similar techniques, combined with religious training and meditation practices, to achieve underwater feats that seem superhuman by contemporary standards. Supporting this theory is ethnographic evidence from other Mesoamerican cultures, showing that spiritual practitioners often developed exceptional physical abilities through ritual training. The Maya emphasis on bloodletting, fasting, and physical endurance in religious contexts suggests that priests routinely pushed their bodies to extreme limits during ceremonial activities. A second theory focuses on the possibility of primitive diving technology. Some researchers point to archaeological evidence suggesting that the Maya may have developed rudimentary breathing apparatus using hollow reeds, animal bladders, or ceramic vessels to trap air underwater. While no direct evidence of such technology has been discovered, the precise placement of deep water offerings suggests capabilities beyond simple breath holding. This technological theory gains credence from Maya innovations in other fields. Their sophisticated understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering demonstrates a culture capable of developing complex solutions to practical problems. If Maya priests needed to perform underwater ceremonies, they may have invented diving aids that left no archaeological trace. The stage ceremony theory proposes that deep water placements were accomplished during seasonal low water periods when cenote levels dropped significantly. During severe droughts, water levels in some cenotes can fall by 20 feet or more, potentially exposing underwater chambers that are normally inaccessible. Priests may have timed major ceremonies to coincide with these low water periods, allowing them to place offerings in locations that would be submerged when water levels returned to normal. Archaeological evidence supports the connection between drought periods and increased sacrificial activity at cenotes. Many of the human remains show signs of ritual preparation consistent with drought-related ceremonies intended to bring rain and restore agricultural productivity. More speculative theories have emerged from the discovery of offerings placed in underwater cave systems connected to the main cenote. Some researchers wonder whether the Maya developed knowledge of underwater cave navigation that allowed them to access hidden chambers through submerged passages. The complex geology of the Yucatan Peninsula includes extensive cave systems that connect many cenotes, potentially providing alternative routes to seemingly inaccessible locations. The supernatural intervention theory, while not scientifically testable, reflects Maya religious beliefs about the extraordinary abilities of their priests. According to this perspective, the precise underwater placement of offerings demonstrates the genuine spiritual powers of religious practitioners who could transcend normal physical limitations through divine assistance. Scientific investigations. Modern scientific investigation of the sacred cenote employs sophisticated underwater archaeology techniques that would have amazed Edward Thompson. Contemporary researchers use advanced diving equipment, underwater mapping systems, and remote sensing technology to explore areas that previous generations of archaeologists could never reach. Underwater mapping using sonar and photogrammetry has revealed the cenote's true three-dimensional structure, including previously unknown chambers and passage systems. These detailed maps show that offerings were not randomly distributed but followed specific patterns that may reflect Maya cosmological beliefs or practical considerations related to underwater access routes. Chemical analysis of cenote water has provided insights into ancient environmental conditions and ceremonial practices. Sediment cores from the cenote bottom contain layers of organic material that document centuries of ritual activity. Analysis of these deposits reveals evidence of copal incense burning, suggesting that some ceremonies included elaborate preparations before offerings were deposited in the water. Skeletal analysis of human remains recovered from the cenote has revolutionized understanding of Maya sacrifice practices. Contrary to popular belief, victims were not exclusively young women, but included individuals of all ages and both sexes. Many skeletal remains show evidence of ritual preparation, including deliberate bone modifications that may have been part of pre-sacrifice ceremonies. DNA analysis of skeletal remains has revealed that sacrifice victims came from throughout the Maya world, not just local populations. This finding supports historical accounts describing the sacred cenote as a pilgrimage destination that drew worshippers from distant regions. Advanced imaging techniques have allowed researchers to examine artifacts without removing them from their underwater context. Underwater photography and three-dimensional modeling preserve detailed records of artifact positions and associations, providing data that was lost during earlier excavation efforts. Modern challenges. The sacred cenote faces numerous contemporary threats that jeopardize both its archaeological significance and its role in living Maya culture. Tourism pressure from millions of annual visitors to Chichen Itza creates ongoing challenges for site preservation and scientific research. While tourism provides economic benefits to local communities, uncontrolled access threatens the delicate underwater ecosystem that has preserved artifacts for centuries. Water quality degradation poses a serious risk to both archaeological remains and the cenote's natural environment. Agricultural runoff, sewage contamination, and chemical pollution from nearby development projects threaten the pristine conditions that have protected organic materials and skeletal remains for over a millennium. The ethical dimensions of cenote research continue to generate controversy within the archaeological community. Many contemporary Maya regard cenotes as sacred sites where their ancestors' remains deserve respectful treatment rather than scientific study. Balancing legitimate research interests with indigenous rights and religious beliefs requires ongoing dialogue between archaeologists and Maya communities. Conservation efforts must address both immediate threats and long-term preservation challenges. Underwater archaeological sites require specialized conservation techniques that are expensive and technically demanding. Limited funding for cenote research means that many important questions about Maya underwater rituals remain unanswered, while sites continue to deteriorate. Climate change poses particular challenges for cenote preservation. Changing rainfall patterns affect water levels and chemistry, while more frequent severe weather events threaten both archaeological sites and research infrastructure. Closing reflections. As sunlight filters through the sacred cenote's crystalline waters, casting ethereal patterns on limestone walls that have witnessed centuries of ritual and sacrifice, we are reminded that some mysteries transcend simple archaeological explanation. The precise underwater placement of offerings speaks to capabilities and knowledge that challenge our understanding of ancient Maya achievement. The blood-red cenotes of Chichen Itza continue to yield their secrets slowly, each new discovery adding complexity rather than clarity to our understanding of Maya religious practices. How did ancient priests navigate these underwater realms with such precision? What combination of skill, technology, and spiritual belief allowed them to perform elaborate ceremonies in environments that modern divers find challenging even with advanced equipment? Perhaps the cenote's greatest lesson lies not in the technical questions it raises, but in its testament to the profound spiritual commitment of the ancient Maya. The willingness to descend into dark waters, to risk death in pursuit of divine favor, speaks to a depth of religious conviction that transcends cultural and temporal boundaries. The sacred cenote remains active in ways that purely historical sites cannot. Contemporary Maya communities continue to regard these waters as sacred, maintaining spiritual connections that span more than 1,000 years of continuous tradition. In their reverence for cenote spirits and their ongoing ceremonial practices, we glimpse the living culture that created these underwater mysteries. What secrets still lie hidden in the cenote's deepest chambers? How many more precisely placed offerings await discovery in unexplored underwater passages? What do you think enabled ancient Maya priests to perform such elaborate underwater ceremonies? Share your theories in the comments below, and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that challenge our assumptions about the capabilities of past civilizations. The vanishing of Lady Six Sky. Imagine standing before a towering stone monument in the dense jungles of Guatemala, reading the carved glyphs that celebrate the victories of one of the most powerful rulers in Maya history. The hieroglyphs speak of military conquests, captive kings, and ritual ceremonies performed by a queen who commanded absolute authority for over 6 decades. This is Lady Six Sky, known to the ancient Maya as Wak Shanil Ajal, the iron-fisted ruler of Naranjo, who commissioned more monuments than almost any other Maya sovereign. Her carved portraits show a regal figure adorned in elaborate jade jewelry and feathered headdresses, standing triumphant over bound captives from rival cities. But then, around 741 AD, something extraordinary happens in the historical record. The monuments stop appearing. The glyphs fall silent. No burial inscription marks her death. No succession ceremony announces her heir. And no enemy city claims credit for her defeat. Lady Six Sky, the most documented female ruler in Maya civilization, simply vanishes from history, as if she never existed. Recent excavations beneath her palace have uncovered a hidden chamber filled with shattered royal regalia and what appears to be evidence of a violent struggle. Did this formidable queen meet a brutal end, or did she choose to disappear into the jungle, abandoning her throne for reasons we may never understand? Historical context. Lady Six Sky ruled the Maya city-state of Naranjo during one of the most turbulent and dynamic periods in Mesoamerican history. The 7th and 8th centuries AD marked the height of classic Maya civilization, when dozens of competing kingdoms across Guatemala, Belize, and southern Mexico engaged in constant warfare, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. Naranjo, located in what is now eastern Guatemala, stood as one of the most powerful of these city-states, controlling crucial trade routes and commanding tribute from smaller settlements throughout the region. Born around 682 AD, Lady Six Sky ascended to power in a world where female rulers were rare but not unprecedented. Maya society occasionally elevated women to supreme authority, particularly when male heirs were unavailable or when political alliances required female leadership. But Lady Six Sky was no mere placeholder ruler waiting for a male successor. From the moment she claimed the throne of Naranjo, she demonstrated political acumen and military prowess that rivaled any of her male contemporaries. Her reign began during a period when Naranjo faced significant challenges from neighboring powers. The great city of Tikal, located to the west, had recently emerged from a devastating defeat and was reasserting its dominance over the Maya lowlands. To the north, the kingdom of Calakmul pursued its own imperial ambitions, forming alliances and sponsoring proxy wars throughout the region. Naranjo found itself caught between these competing superpowers, forced to navigate a complex web of shifting alliances and military threats. Lady Six Sky's response to these challenges was both decisive and ruthless. Rather than pursuing defensive strategies, she launched aggressive military campaigns against neighboring cities, capturing enemy rulers and expanding Naranjo's territorial control. Her military victories were commemorated in elaborate stone monuments that described her personal participation in warfare, showing her taking captives and performing victory rituals typically reserved for male warriors. The scope of Lady Six Sky's building program rivals that of famous Maya rulers like Jasa Chan Kawil of Tikal or Kinich Janaba Pakal of Palenque. During her 60-year reign, she commissioned dozens of stone stelae, altars, and architectural monuments that transformed Naranjo into one of the most impressive cities in the Maya world. These monuments serve both as historical records and as propaganda tools, projecting images of royal power and divine authority to subjects and enemies alike. Archaeological evidence suggests that Lady Six Sky's reign brought unprecedented prosperity to Naranjo. Population centers expanded, trade networks flourished, and artistic production reached new heights of sophistication. The city's workshops produced exquisite pottery, jade ornaments, and textiles that were traded throughout Mesoamerica, while its scribes developed some of the most complex hieroglyphic texts in Maya history. Discovery. The mystery of Lady Six Sky's disappearance first caught the attention of modern scholars in the early 20th century, when archaeologists began systematically recording and translating the hieroglyphic inscriptions at Naranjo. The site, known locally as Vitsna, had been documented by explorers since the 1880s, but the complexity of Maya writing systems delayed comprehensive understanding of its historical significance. British archaeologist Ian Graham conducted extensive surveys at Naranjo during the 1970s and 80s, photographing and mapping the site's numerous monuments. Graham's work revealed the extraordinary scope of Lady Six Sky's reign and the abrupt termination of her historical record. His documentation showed that monuments commissioned by the Queen appeared regularly throughout her reign, typically marking important calendar dates and military victories until they suddenly ceased around 741 AD. The puzzle deepened when epigraphers began translating the hieroglyphic texts in detail during the 1990s. Maya writing specialists like David Stewart and Simon Martin discovered that Lady Six Sky's inscriptions contained unusual elements that set them apart from typical royal monuments. Some texts included cryptic references to future events and mysterious prophecies that scholars still struggle to interpret. Recent archaeological investigations at Naranjo have focused on the royal palace complex, where Lady Six Sky maintained her court. In 2018, a joint expedition led by Guatemalan and American archaeologists began systematic excavations beneath the palace foundations, hoping to locate the Queen's burial chamber and resolve questions about her fate. The excavation team used ground-penetrating radar and other non-invasive techniques to map subsurface structures before beginning physical excavation. Their surveys revealed a previously unknown chamber directly beneath the throne room where Lady Six Sky would have held court and received tribute from vassal rulers. When archaeologists finally accessed this hidden chamber, they discovered a scene that defied expectations. Rather than the elaborate burial goods typically associated with Maya royal tombs, the chamber contained evidence of destruction and violence. Fragments of jade jewelry, gold ornaments, and ceremonial weapons lay scattered across the floor as if they had been hurriedly abandoned or deliberately smashed. Most intriguingly, the chamber contained no human remains, despite clear evidence of recent occupation at the time of abandonment. Organic materials preserved in the chamber's controlled environment included textile fragments, wood carvings, and even traces of copal incense that suggested the space had been used for private rituals or ceremonies shortly before Lady Six Sky's disappearance. Carbon dating and ceramic analysis confirmed that the chamber was sealed sometime in the mid-8th century, consistent with the date of Lady Six Sky's last recorded monument. But the circumstances of its abandonment raised more questions than answers about the Queen's ultimate fate. Theories. The mysterious circumstances surrounding Lady Six Sky's disappearance have generated numerous theories among Maya scholars, each attempting to explain how such a powerful ruler could vanish so completely from the historical record. The violent overthrow theory suggests that Lady Six Sky was killed in a palace coup or enemy attack that destroyed her monuments and erased her memory from official records. Supporters point to the shattered regalia in the hidden chamber as evidence of a violent struggle, arguing that enemies would have deliberately destroyed symbols of her authority. The complete absence of any burial record could indicate that her death was so sudden and traumatic that normal royal protocols could not be followed. The voluntary abdication theory proposes that Lady Six Sky chose to abandon her throne for personal or spiritual reasons, possibly retiring to a remote monastery or sacred site. Some Maya texts describe rulers who voluntarily relinquished power to seek spiritual enlightenment, though such abdications were extremely rare. The careful preservation of the hidden chamber suggests deliberate preparation rather than hasty abandonment. The supernatural intervention theory reflects Maya beliefs about rulers joining the gods in the supernatural realm, physically disappearing from the mortal world to assume divine status. Some of Lady Six Sky's later monuments contain unusual hieroglyphic references that might support this interpretation, with cryptic passages describing her participation in ceremonies involving transformation and rebirth. The political exile theory suggests that changing alliances and military defeats forced Lady Six Sky to flee Naranjo, seeking refuge in a distant city where she could live in obscurity. References in contemporaneous inscriptions from other Maya cities to a mysterious female ruler who sought sanctuary around the same time support this possibility. The ritual transformation theory proposes that Lady Six Sky's disappearance was connected to Maya calendar cycles and religious beliefs about cyclical time, with her vanishing coinciding with important astronomical events that required her symbolic death and rebirth in a different form. Scientific investigations. Modern archaeological techniques are gradually shedding new light on Lady Six Sky's mysterious disappearance. Advanced photography and digital imaging have uncovered previously invisible hieroglyphs that were eroded or deliberately erased from stone monuments. Some of these hidden texts contain unusual calendrical notations and astronomical references that may provide clues about the timing of her disappearance. Ground-penetrating radar surveys have identified additional underground chambers and passages that may be connected to the hidden room beneath Lady Six Sky's palace. Chemical analysis of artifacts from the chamber has revealed evidence of ritual burning and ceremonial activities that took place shortly before it was sealed. Isotope analysis of jade and obsidian artifacts has traced their origins to specific quarries throughout the Maya world, providing evidence of Lady Six Sky's extensive trade networks and political connections. Some objects came from distant regions where she might have sought refuge. Excavations in residential areas of Naranjo have uncovered evidence of population decline and economic disruption following Lady Six Sky's disappearance. Ceramic analysis shows a reduction in luxury goods, suggesting that her vanishing had significant economic consequences for the city. Bioarchaeological analysis of human remains from Naranjo's cemeteries reveals evidence of increased violence and nutritional stress in the generations following her disappearance, supporting theories that her vanishing led to political instability. Modern challenges. Investigation of Lady Six Sky's disappearance faces numerous challenges that reflect broader issues in Maya archaeology. The remote location of Naranjo makes systematic research difficult and expensive, while looting and illegal artifact trafficking pose serious threats to archaeological sites throughout the Maya region. Climate change is accelerating the deterioration of organic materials and stone monuments that have survived for over 1,000 years. Limited funding for Maya archaeological research means that many important questions remain unanswered, while sites continue to deteriorate. The ethical dimensions of Maya archaeology continue to generate debate, as many contemporary Maya groups regard archaeological sites as sacred spaces where their ancestors should rest undisturbed. Conservation challenges include protecting monuments from environmental damage while making them accessible for legitimate research. Closing reflections. In the verdant silence of the Guatemala rainforest, where ancient trees grow through the courtyards of ruined palaces, the mystery of Lady Six Sky continues to challenge our understanding of power and memory in the ancient world. What happened to this remarkable woman who commanded armies, built monuments, and ruled one of the most powerful kingdoms in the Maya world? Perhaps Lady Six Sky's greatest achievement lies not in the monuments she built or the victories she won, but in the enduring mystery she created through her disappearance. In vanishing so completely from history, she ensured that her story would continue to fascinate centuries after more conventional rulers were forgotten. Her absence speaks as powerfully as any carved inscription about the limits of political power and the ultimate mysteries of human existence. The quest to understand Lady Six Sky's fate continues to drive archaeological research throughout the Maya world. Each new discovery adds fragments to an incomplete puzzle, while raising fresh questions about the complex forces that shaped ancient Maya civilization. Her disappearance echoes through the centuries as a testament to the fragility of human memory and the enduring power of unsolved questions. What do you think happened to Lady Six Sky? Was she the victim of a violent coup, or did she choose to vanish into legend? Share your theories in the comments below and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that remind us how much we still don't know about our remarkable human past. The impossible acoustics of Kukulkan's pyramid. Imagine standing at the base of the Great Pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza, raising your hands and creating a simple clap that echoes back not as the sharp crack you expect, but as the haunting call of the sacred Quetzal bird. The sound seems impossible, as if the ancient stones themselves are singing in the voice of the feathered serpent god. The pyramid, known as El Castillo, produces acoustic effects that defy conventional understanding, transforming human sounds into the calls of sacred animals and amplifying whispers into voices that carry across vast distances. Recent analysis has revealed that the entire structure functions as a massive sound engineering device, designed with mathematical precision that rivals modern concert halls. Researchers have discovered that specific ritual chants, when performed at precise locations around the pyramid, create harmonic resonances that can be heard for miles across the Yucatan landscape. But the acoustic knowledge required for such sophisticated engineering supposedly didn't exist in pre-Columbian America. How did Maya architects achieve these impossible sound effects over 1,000 years ago? And what purpose did these acoustic chambers really serve? Historical context. The Pyramid of Kukulkan stands as the crowning achievement of Chichen Itza, the great Maya city that dominated the northern Yucatan Peninsula from approximately 600 to 1300 AD. This magnificent structure, rising 91 feet above the surrounding plaza, was built when Maya civilization was undergoing dramatic cultural and religious transformations. Chichen Itza represented a unique fusion of Maya traditions with influences from central Mexico, creating a cosmopolitan center that attracted pilgrims, traders, and scholars from across Mesoamerica. The city's architects combined traditional building techniques with new innovations, producing monuments that surpassed earlier achievements in scale and sophistication. The pyramid's design reflects profound knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and religious symbolism. Its four sides each contain 91 steps, which combined with the temple platform create 365, corresponding to the solar year. During equinoxes, shadows cast by the pyramid's edges create the illusion of a serpent descending the northern staircase. Sound played a crucial role in Maya ceremonial life, with priests using drums, flutes, conch shells, and human voices to communicate with supernatural forces and coordinate complex rituals involving thousands of participants. Maya religious texts describe elaborate ceremonies where priests would station themselves at specific locations around major temples, using acoustic signals to synchronize ritual activities across vast architectural complexes. Archaeological evidence suggests that the pyramid's acoustic effects were not accidental discoveries, but deliberate design features incorporated during construction. The precise placement of stones, careful calculation of angles, and strategic positioning of architectural elements all contribute to the structure's remarkable sound properties. The Maya understanding of acoustics encompassed deeper philosophical concepts about sound, communication, and cosmic harmony. Their creation myths describe the world being brought into existence through divine speech and song, making acoustic phenomena integral to their understanding of reality itself. Discovery. The acoustic mysteries of Kukulkan's pyramid first came to scientific attention through observations of tourists and tour guides who noticed unusual sound effects during visits to Chichen Itza. For decades, visitors reported hearing strange echoes when clapping their hands near the pyramid, but these phenomena were generally dismissed as curious coincidences. Systematic study began in the 1980s when architect and acoustics researcher David Lubman visited Chichen Itza and experienced the Quetzal bird sound effect firsthand. Intrigued by what he heard, Lubman began documenting the acoustic phenomena and analyzing their possible causes. Lubman's research revealed that the pyramid's step structure acts as a massive acoustic filter, transforming the sharp attack of a handclap into reflected sounds that mimic the distinctive call of the quetzal bird. This discovery was particularly significant because the quetzal was sacred to the Maya, associated with the feathered serpent deity Kukulkan. Further investigation revealed additional sound effects throughout the pyramid complex. Conversations held at normal volume levels near the base could be clearly heard at the top, while whispers spoken in certain locations were amplified and carried across the surrounding plaza. The most dramatic discovery came when researchers tested the acoustic properties of the pyramid's interior chambers and connecting passageways. Using sophisticated recording equipment, acoustic analysis software, scientists found that the internal architecture created complex resonance patterns that could amplify and direct sound waves with remarkable precision. In the late 1990s, acoustic engineer Nico de Klerk from Georgia Institute of Technology conducted comprehensive studies using advanced measurement techniques. De Klerk's research confirmed that the structure's acoustic effects were not random occurrences, but resulted from deliberate engineering decisions made during construction. Computer modeling revealed that the pyramid's builders possessed sophisticated understanding of sound wave propagation, resonance frequencies, and architectural acoustics. The precision required to achieve these effects suggested knowledge that was far more advanced than previously attributed to pre-Columbian civilizations. Theories. The sophisticated acoustic properties have generated numerous theories about how ancient Maya architects achieved such remarkable sound engineering and what purposes these effects served. The divine communication theory suggests that the pyramid's acoustic effects were designed to facilitate communication between human priests and supernatural deities. The structure functioned as a massive amplification device that allowed religious practitioners to project their voices directly to the gods, while enabling divine responses to be heard clearly by human worshippers. Supporting this theory is that many dramatic acoustic effects occur at locations associated with religious activities, such as the base of the ceremonial staircase and entrances to internal chambers. Maya religious texts describe elaborate rituals where priests would speak or sing to invoke divine presence. The crowd control theory proposes that the acoustic properties served practical administrative functions, allowing rulers and priests to communicate with large gatherings during public ceremonies and political events. The ability to project voices clearly across vast distances would have been essential for maintaining order and conveying information to crowds of thousands. Archaeological evidence supports this interpretation, as the pyramid sits at the center of a large plaza capable of holding enormous gatherings. The acoustic effects would have enabled speakers positioned on the pyramid to address crowds throughout the plaza without requiring intermediate relays. The astronomical correlation theory suggests that the acoustic properties were designed to correspond with celestial events and astronomical cycles, important to Maya cosmology. Sound effects were timed to coincide with specific astronomical alignments, creating multimedia experiences that combined visual phenomena with complementary acoustic effects. Evidence shows that many pronounced acoustic effects occur during certain times when astronomical alignments are most significant. The integration of sound with visual astronomical phenomena would have created powerful religious experiences that reinforced Maya beliefs about connections between earthly and celestial realms. The advanced knowledge theory proposes that Maya architects possessed sophisticated understanding of acoustic engineering principles far more advanced than previously recognized. The mathematical precision required involves complex calculations of sound wave propagation, resonance frequencies, and architectural geometry. The experimental discovery theory suggests that acoustic effects may have been discovered accidentally during construction and then deliberately enhanced as builders recognized their potential value. Maya architects may have stumbled upon basic acoustic phenomena and then systematically refined them through experimentation. Scientific investigations. Modern scientific investigation has employed cutting-edge acoustic analysis techniques to understand how ancient Maya architects achieved such sophisticated sound engineering. Researchers from multiple disciplines have collaborated to decode the acoustic mysteries using advanced tools and methods. Computer modeling and digital acoustic simulation have allowed scientists to recreate the pyramid's sound properties in virtual environments, enabling detailed analysis of how architectural features contribute to specific acoustic effects. These simulations reveal that even minor variations in stone placement significantly impact sound wave behavior. Laser scanning and three-dimensional mapping technologies have documented the pyramid's architectural details with millimeter accuracy, providing data essential for understanding how physical structures create acoustic phenomena. These measurements have revealed subtle geometric relationships that contribute to sound amplification and direction. Spectrographic analysis of sounds recorded at the pyramid has identified specific frequency patterns that correspond to the calls of quetzal birds and other animals sacred to the Maya. This analysis confirms that the acoustic effects are not subjective impressions, but measurable physical phenomena with consistent characteristics. Field recordings made using professional acoustic equipment have captured the full range of sound effects produced by the pyramid under different conditions. These recordings have been analyzed using advanced signal processing techniques to identify mechanisms responsible for sound transformation and amplification. Experimental archaeology has played a crucial role in understanding how ancient builders achieved these acoustic effects using available materials and construction techniques. Researchers have built scale models and partial reconstructions to test theories about Maya engineering methods. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed internal chambers and passages that contribute to the pyramid's acoustic properties. These hidden architectural features suggest that the acoustic design extends throughout the structure, not just on external surfaces. Materials analysis of limestone blocks has provided insights into how stone composition and texture affect sound transmission and reflection. Maya builders appear to have selected specific types of stone for different acoustic functions, demonstrating sophisticated understanding of material properties. Modern challenges. The acoustic mysteries face numerous contemporary challenges that threaten both preservation of these remarkable effects and researchers' ability to study them effectively. Tourism pressure from millions of annual visitors has created ongoing problems for scientific investigation and heritage conservation. Heavy foot traffic has caused gradual erosion of stone surfaces, crucial for maintaining acoustic properties. Even minor changes to surface textures can significantly alter sound reflection and transmission characteristics, potentially diminishing acoustic effects that have persisted for over 1,000 years. Environmental factors including acid rain, air pollution, and climate change pose additional threats to the limestone structure and its acoustic properties. Chemical weathering processes accelerated by modern environmental conditions can alter stone surfaces in ways that affect sound wave behavior. Balancing public access with preservation needs has become increasingly complex as awareness of the pyramid's acoustic properties has grown. Demonstrating sound effects for visitors can contribute to stone wear and structural damage, while restricting access limits educational opportunities. Noise pollution from nearby development, traffic, and tourism infrastructure interferes with acoustic research and diminishes the visitor experience. Ambient sound levels at Chichen Itza have increased significantly since the acoustic properties were first documented. Limited funding for acoustic archaeology means many questions about the pyramid's sound engineering remain unanswered. The specialized equipment and expertise required for comprehensive acoustic analysis are expensive and not readily available to researchers. Documentation and preservation require ongoing monitoring and analysis to track changes over time and identify conservation priorities. This work requires long-term commitment and sustained funding that are often difficult to secure for heritage science projects. Closing reflections. As the sun sets over the ancient stones of Chichen Itza and the last echoes of tourist voices fade into evening silence, the Pyramid of Kukulkan stands as a testament to human ingenuity that transcends our conventional understanding of ancient capabilities. The impossible acoustics embedded within its limestone blocks continue to challenge archaeologists, engineers, and historians who struggle to comprehend how Maya architects achieved such sophisticated sound design over a millennium ago. The mystery extends beyond mere technical achievement to touch fundamental questions about the relationship between science, spirituality, and artistic expression in ancient civilizations. How did the Maya conceptualize the integration of acoustic engineering with religious architecture? What inspired them to invest such extraordinary effort in creating effects that modern visitors still find magical and inexplicable? Perhaps the pyramid's greatest lesson lies not in the specific techniques its builders employed, but in their vision of architecture as something more than mere shelter or monument. They created a structure that engages multiple senses simultaneously, combining visual spectacle with acoustic wonder to produce experiences that transcend the purely physical or aesthetic. The acoustic mysteries continue to yield new discoveries as research techniques advance and our understanding of Maya civilization deepens. Each investigation reveals additional layers of complexity, while raising fresh questions about the full extent of pre-Columbian scientific and artistic achievement. In the continuing whispers and echoes that emanate from these ancient stones, we hear not just the voices of long-dead architects and priests, but the enduring human desire to create something greater than the sum of its parts. The pyramid speaks to us across centuries in the language of transformed sound, reminding us that true understanding often lies beyond the boundaries of what we think is possible. What do you think inspired the Maya to invest such extraordinary effort in acoustic engineering? Share your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that challenge our assumptions about human capability and creativity throughout history. The Jade Death Mask Anomaly. Imagine descending into a burial chamber that has remained sealed for over 1,000 years. Your headlamp illuminating stone walls, carved with hieroglyphs that speak of divine kingship and eternal life. As you move deeper into the tomb, something extraordinary catches your eye in the darkness ahead. Resting upon the remains of an ancient Maya ruler lies a funeral mask, made of jade so pure it seems to glow with inner light. This is no ordinary death mask. The jade appears to be carved from a single, enormous piece of stone, something that should be geologically impossible in the Americas. In 2019, archaeologists excavating near Palenque made this discovery that has left experts baffled. The mask's jade composition doesn't match any known deposits worldwide, while the tomb itself was sealed using construction techniques that the Maya supposedly never possessed. Who was buried with this impossible mask, and where could such extraordinary jade have originated? Historical context. The ancient Maya held jade in higher regard than any other material, valuing it more than gold or precious metals that captivated European conquistadors. To the Maya, jade represented life itself, embodying the green of growing maize, the color of water, and the eternal cycle of death and rebirth that governed their understanding of existence. This sacred stone was reserved for the most elite members of society, particularly rulers who were believed to possess divine authority. Maya royal burial practices evolved over centuries, reflecting complex beliefs about death, transformation, and the journey to the underworld. Kings and queens were interred with elaborate grave goods designed to assist their passage through the dangerous realm of Xibalba and ensure their successful transformation into deified ancestors. These burial assemblages typically included jade jewelry, ceramic vessels, obsidian blades, and intricate textiles. Palenque, nestled in the misty highlands of Chiapas, Mexico, represents one of the most sophisticated achievements of classic Maya civilization. During its golden age, from approximately 600 to 700 AD, Palenque was ruled by powerful kings who commissioned beautiful architecture and art. The Temple of Inscriptions, containing the famous tomb of Kinich Janab Pakal, established Palenque's reputation as a center of royal burial traditions and jade craftsmanship. Maya jade working required extraordinary skill and patience. Artisans used string saws, bamboo drills, and abrasive sand to slowly shape the extremely hard stone, creating intricate masks, pendants, and ceremonial objects that could take months or years to complete. The finest jade came from the Motagua River Valley in Guatemala, where Maya craftsmen quarried jadeite of exceptional quality and color. Archaeological evidence suggests that Maya merchants traveled vast distances to obtain rare stones, establishing trade networks that stretched from central Mexico to Costa Rica. The most prized jade exhibited specific characteristics: intense green coloration, translucency that allowed light to penetrate the stone, and freedom from fractures or inclusions that could weaken the material. Discovery. The discovery of the anomalous jade mask began with routine archaeological survey work in the hills surrounding Palenque during early 2019. A joint Mexican and international research team, led by archaeologist Dr. Eduardo Morales, was investigating reports of looting activity when ground-penetrating radar revealed a previously unknown structural anomaly beneath natural forest floor. Initial excavations uncovered the entrance to a burial chamber that had been deliberately concealed and sealed using massive limestone blocks fitted together with remarkable precision. The sealing technique immediately caught researchers' attention, as it required engineering capabilities that exceeded known Maya construction methods. The blocks had been shaped and positioned using tools that left distinctive marks unlike anything found at other Maya sites. As the team carefully removed the entrance stones, they discovered that the tomb's construction defied conventional Maya burial architecture. Instead of typical vaulted chambers found at other elite burial sites, this tomb featured perfectly fitted stone joints and corner construction that suggested advanced masonry knowledge. The walls displayed no tool marks from traditional Maya implements. The burial chamber contained a single interment, apparently that of a high-status individual, based on the quality and quantity of grave goods. However, the identity of the occupant could not be immediately determined, as the tomb contained no hieroglyphic inscriptions or other identifying markers typical of royal Maya burials. When researchers first encountered the jade death mask, they initially assumed it was constructed from multiple pieces of jade fitted together, following traditional Maya mask-making techniques. However, closer examination revealed that the entire mask appeared to be carved from a single piece of jade, measuring approximately 12 inches in height and 8 inches in width. The implications were staggering, as jade of this size and quality was unknown in Mesoamerican archaeology. The mask's craftsmanship exhibited technical sophistication that surpassed other Maya jade work. The interior surface had been hollowed out with precision that suggested the use of rotary tools, while the exterior featured carved details so fine they appeared to have been created with metal implements. The overall design incorporated traditional Maya iconographic elements, but executed with unprecedented detail. Theories. The extraordinary nature of the jade death mask has generated numerous theories attempting to explain its origin, composition, and the advanced construction techniques evident in its burial chamber. The unknown trade network theory suggests that the Maya maintained commercial connections with distant civilizations that provided access to exotic jade varieties not found in Mesoamerica. Proponents argue that Maya merchants may have established trading relationships with Asian cultures through trans-Pacific contacts, obtaining jade from sources in China, Myanmar, or other Asian jade-producing regions. This theory would explain the mask's unusual mineral composition, while suggesting that pre-Columbian trade networks were far more extensive than previously recognized. Supporting evidence includes the presence of Asian-origin plants and animals in pre-Columbian America, as well as cultural similarities between Maya and Asian civilizations in calendar systems, agricultural techniques, and religious practices. However, critics point out that no definitive archaeological evidence has been found for sustained trans-Pacific contact during the Classic Maya period. The advanced lost technology theory proposes that the Maya possessed sophisticated tool-making and engineering capabilities that were subsequently lost or deliberately concealed. According to this interpretation, the jade mask and its unusual burial chamber represent surviving examples of a more advanced phase of Maya civilization that has been largely erased from the archaeological record. This theory gains support from the precision of the mask's carving and the advanced construction techniques evident in the tomb. The absence of tool marks consistent with known Maya implements suggests the use of more sophisticated equipment, while the perfect stone fitting in the chamber walls indicates engineering knowledge that exceeded conventional Maya capabilities. The geological anomaly theory suggests that the unusual jade composition results from previously unknown geological processes or mineral deposits that have not yet been discovered by modern science. According to this explanation, unique geological conditions in the Maya region may have produced jade varieties that differ significantly from known deposits worldwide. Recent geological surveys in the area surrounding the tomb have identified mineral formations that exhibit unusual characteristics, though none matching the exact composition of the death mask jade. Supporters argue that more extensive geological investigation may reveal the natural source of the anomalous material. The ceremonial transformation theory proposes that the mask was created using advanced Maya techniques specifically for religious purposes, with its unusual properties reflecting deliberate attempts to create an object that embodied supernatural characteristics. Scientific investigations. Comprehensive scientific analysis of the jade death mask has employed cutting-edge analytical techniques to understand its composition, construction methods, and cultural significance. The investigation represents one of the most thorough examinations ever conducted on a Maya jade artifact. Spectrographic analysis using inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry has provided detailed information about the mask's mineral composition, revealing trace elements and isotope signatures that distinguish it from all known jade sources. The analysis detected rare earth elements and mineral inclusions that do not occur in Mesoamerican jade deposits, while isotope ratios suggest formation under geological conditions unlike those found in the Americas. X-ray computed tomography scanning has revealed the internal structure of the mask without requiring invasive sampling. These scans confirm that the mask was indeed carved from a single piece of jade, eliminating the possibility that it was assembled from multiple smaller pieces. The internal structure shows no evidence of joining or composite construction techniques. Laser ablation analysis has enabled researchers to obtain microscopic samples for detailed chemical analysis without significantly damaging the artifact. Results consistently show mineral compositions that do not match any cataloged jade deposits from Asia, Central America, or other known sources worldwide. Microscopic examination of tool marks and surface features has provided insights into the manufacturing techniques used to create the mask. High-resolution imaging reveals cutting and polishing marks that suggest the use of rotary tools and abrasive compounds more advanced than known Maya techniques. Carbon dating of organic materials found within the burial chamber has confirmed that the interment took place during the late Classic period, approximately 700 to 800 AD. This dating is consistent with the chamber's architectural style and associated artifacts, though the advanced construction techniques remain unexplained. Comparative analysis with jade samples from museums worldwide has confirmed that the death mask's material composition is unlike any previously documented jade variety. Database searches of mineral collections from major institutions have failed to identify any matching samples. Modern challenges. The jade death mask anomaly presents numerous challenges for researchers, cultural authorities, and the broader archaeological community. The artifact's extraordinary nature has attracted international attention while raising complex questions about research ethics, cultural patrimony, and scientific methodology. Conservation of the jade mask requires specialized expertise and equipment to ensure its long-term preservation. The unusual mineral composition means that standard jade conservation techniques may not be appropriate, while the mask's archaeological value demands the highest standards of care. Climate-controlled storage facilities and handling protocols have been established to protect the artifact from environmental damage. Security concerns have become paramount, given the mask's uniqueness and potential value. The artifact requires constant protection from theft, while remaining accessible for legitimate scientific research. Specialized security measures have been implemented to ensure its safety. The question of cultural ownership has generated significant discussion among Maya communities, Mexican cultural authorities, and international researchers. While the mask was discovered within Mexican territory and is subject to Mexican patrimony laws, its unusual characteristics raise questions about its cultural origins and appropriate stewardship. Scientific access to the mask must be balanced with conservation requirements and cultural sensitivities. Research proposals undergo rigorous review to ensure that proposed studies will contribute meaningful knowledge while minimizing risk to the artifact. The mask's anomalous characteristics have attracted attention from fringe researchers and conspiracy theorists, creating challenges for serious scientific investigation. Maintaining rigorous academic standards while addressing public interest requires ongoing effort from the research community. Closing reflections. In the quiet halls of the laboratory, where the jade death mask now resides, the artifact continues to challenge our understanding of what was possible in the pre-Columbian Americas. Its luminous green surface seems to hold secrets that transcend the boundaries between known and unknown, between the possible and the impossible. The mask represents more than an archaeological anomaly. It embodies the fundamental questions that drive human inquiry into our past. How much do we really know about ancient civilizations and their capabilities? What technologies, trade networks, and cultural achievements might have been lost to time, leaving only tantalizing traces like this extraordinary jade artifact? Each scientific analysis adds new layers to the mystery, while raising fresh questions about the mask's origins and significance. The jade that doesn't match any known earthly source, the construction techniques that exceed recognized Maya capabilities, and the burial practices that defy conventional understanding all point toward gaps in our knowledge that may be more significant than previously recognized. Perhaps the greatest lesson of the jade death mask lies not in the specific answers it might eventually provide, but in its reminder that the ancient world still holds secrets capable of fundamentally challenging our assumptions. The mask speaks across centuries, in a language of craftsmanship and materials that we are still learning to understand. As research continues and new analytical techniques become available, the mask may eventually reveal its secrets. Until then, it stands as a testament to the enduring power of mystery and the importance of remaining open to discoveries that challenge our preconceptions about the past. What do you think could explain the impossible properties of this ancient jade mask? Could it represent evidence of lost technologies, unknown trade networks, or something even more extraordinary? Share your theories in the comments below, and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that challenge our understanding of human civilization. The underwater city of the Yucatan. Imagine diving into the crystal-clear waters of a cenote, descending through shafts of sunlight that pierce the blue depths like golden arrows. As you sink deeper into this underwater cathedral, your eyes adjust to the ethereal glow emanating from limestone walls. But then, something impossible comes into view. Stone pyramids rest on the cenote floor, their carved surfaces covered in hieroglyphs that speak of kings and gods. These are ancient Maya monuments, perfectly preserved beneath 40 feet of water. Along the Yucatan coast, marine archaeologists have discovered what appears to be an entire Maya settlement submerged beneath the Caribbean Sea, complete with plazas, temples, and residential compounds that show no signs of being built underwater. The structures were clearly constructed on dry land and later submerged by catastrophic events. But dating suggests these monuments were built when sea levels were actually lower, not higher than today. Recent exploration has uncovered elaborate frescoes and hieroglyphic texts preserved by the water, telling the story of a disaster that the Maya called the Great Drowning. What could have caused this sudden inundation? And why do Maya texts from other cities make no mention of such catastrophic events? Historical context. The Maya civilization flourished across the Yucatan Peninsula for over 2 millennia, creating one of the most sophisticated cultures in the pre-Columbian Americas. From approximately 2000 BC to 1500 AD, Maya cities dotted the landscape from southern Mexico through Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras. The Yucatan Peninsula, with its unique geological features and coastal access, became home to some of the most important Maya centers. The peninsula's geography played a crucial role in Maya civilization. Unlike other regions where rivers provided fresh water, the Yucatan's flat limestone terrain featured no surface rivers. Instead, the Maya depended on cenotes, natural sinkholes that provided access to underground freshwater systems. These sacred wells were not only sources of life-giving water, but also portals to the underworld in Maya cosmology. Maya settlements were typically organized around these water sources, with ceremonial and residential areas positioned near reliable cenotes. The relationship between water and settlement was so fundamental that Maya creation myths describe the world emerging from primordial waters, and their rain god Chayak was among the most important deities. During the Classic period, roughly 300 to 900 AD, Maya civilization reached its peak. Cities grew to unprecedented sizes, supporting populations in the tens of thousands through sophisticated agricultural techniques. The Maya developed the most advanced writing system in the pre-Columbian Americas and built architectural monuments that rival any ancient civilization. Coastal Maya communities developed extensive maritime trade networks that connected the Yucatan with other parts of Mesoamerica. Archaeological evidence suggests that Maya merchants traveled by sea to Honduras, Costa Rica, and possibly South America, exchanging precious goods like jade, obsidian, cacao, and exotic feathers. Discovery. The discovery of submerged Maya structures began with reports from local fishermen and diving guides who noticed unusual stone formations on cenote floors during routine excursions. For decades, these reports were largely dismissed by archaeologists as natural limestone formations. The idea that ancient Maya cities might lie beneath the water seemed impossible given conventional understanding of sea level changes. Systematic investigation of underwater Maya sites began in the late 1980s, when marine archaeologist Dr. Patricia McEnany received funding to explore reports of carved stones in cenotes near Tulum. Using early underwater survey equipment, her team documented what appeared to be deliberately shaped blocks and carved decorative elements in several cenotes. The breakthrough came in 2003, when advances in underwater archaeology technology allowed for more comprehensive surveys of submerged sites. A joint expedition led by Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History began systematic mapping of anomalous structures in cenotes throughout the Yucatan Peninsula. Using side-scan sonar and underwater photography, researchers documented extensive architectural remains in over 30 cenotes, revealing a pattern of submerged construction. The structures showed clear evidence of Maya architectural styles, including corbel arches, hieroglyphic inscriptions, and decorative motifs consistent with late Classic period construction techniques. The most significant discovery occurred during exploration of a cenote system near Puerto Aventuras. Divers descended through underwater passages that opened into vast submerged chambers containing what appeared to be an entire Maya plaza complex. Stone platforms, stairways, and carved stelae were arranged in geometric patterns typical of Maya ceremonial centers, but all lay beneath 40 feet of clear water. Initial dating of organic materials trapped in the structures suggested construction during the late Classic period, around 700 to 900 AD. However, geological analysis indicated that these areas had been dry land during construction, raising questions about what could have caused such dramatic flooding. The most remarkable discovery came when divers explored the deepest chambers of the submerged complex. Protected by the constant temperature and chemistry of cenote water, elaborate stucco frescoes had survived in near-perfect condition. These paintings depicted scenes of Maya religious ceremony and daily life, but also included imagery that seemed to reference catastrophic flooding. Theories. The existence of submerged Maya cities has generated intense debate among archaeologists, geologists, and climate scientists, each attempting to explain how entire settlements could have been submerged when sea levels were supposedly lower during the Maya period. The catastrophic geological event theory proposes that the submerged cities were victims of sudden geological disaster that caused rapid land subsidence or dramatic changes in local water levels. Supporters point to the active geological nature of the Yucatan Peninsula, which sits on a tectonically complex region where major plates intersect. A major earthquake could have triggered land collapse or sudden changes in underground water systems. Evidence supporting this theory includes geological surveys that have identified fault lines and areas of recent subsidence throughout the peninsula. The famous Chicxulub crater, created by the asteroid impact that ended the dinosaur age, demonstrates that the region has experienced catastrophic geological events. The climate change hypothesis suggests that the submerged cities were victims of rapid climate-driven sea level rise, or changes in precipitation patterns that affected groundwater levels. During the late Classic period, the Maya experienced severe drought cycles that may have been followed by periods of extreme flooding. Paleoclimatic data indicates that this period was characterized by significant climate variability. This theory gains support from evidence that Maya civilization faced serious environmental challenges during the 8th and 9th centuries AD, including deforestation, soil depletion, and water management problems. Extreme flooding following severe drought could have overwhelmed Maya water management systems and forced abandonment of low-lying settlements. The tsunami or storm surge theory proposes that the submerged cities were victims of massive coastal flooding events caused by hurricanes, tsunamis, or other marine disasters. The Yucatan Peninsula's low elevation and exposure to Caribbean hurricanes make it vulnerable to storm surge flooding that could penetrate far inland through cenote systems. Archaeological evidence from other Maya sites shows that coastal communities were sometimes abandoned following major storm events. Historical records from the colonial period document several catastrophic hurricanes that caused widespread flooding and forced relocation of entire settlements. The human-caused environmental collapse theory suggests that Maya environmental management practices may have inadvertently created conditions that made their cities vulnerable to flooding. Intensive agriculture, deforestation, and population growth could have altered local hydrology in ways that increased flood risk. The deliberate abandonment and ritual flooding theory proposes that some Maya cities may have been deliberately flooded as part of religious or political rituals. Maya cosmology included concepts of cyclical destruction and renewal, and archaeological evidence shows that the Maya sometimes ritually terminated buildings at the end of calendar cycles. Scientific investigations. Modern underwater archaeology has employed sophisticated technologies to study the submerged Maya sites, revealing details about their construction, use, and abandonment that would be impossible to obtain from terrestrial sites. Underwater mapping using photogrammetry and three-dimensional modeling has created detailed digital reconstructions of submerged structures. These models reveal architectural details and spatial relationships that demonstrate that sites were designed as integrated urban complexes rather than isolated buildings. The precision of Maya construction techniques is particularly evident underwater. Sediment core analysis from cenote floors has provided detailed records of environmental conditions before, during, and after flooding events. These cores contain layers of organic material, pollen, and microscopic organisms that document changes in vegetation, climate, and water chemistry over thousands of years. Analysis has revealed evidence of sudden environmental changes that coincide with abandonment of submerged sites. Underwater excavation techniques have been adapted to recover artifacts and organic materials from submerged Maya sites. Working in cenotes requires specialized equipment and training, as divers must navigate tight spaces while maintaining archaeological precision. These excavations have recovered pottery, tools, and organic materials that provide insights into daily life. Ground-penetrating radar and sonar surveys have revealed that submerged structures extend far beyond what is visible to divers. Underground passages and hidden chambers connect cenotes across vast distances, suggesting that flooded areas may have been part of much larger urban complexes. Dating techniques applied to organic materials from submerged sites have provided precise chronologies for construction and abandonment events. Radiocarbon dating has confirmed that most submerged sites were constructed during the late Classic period and abandoned between 800 and 900 AD. Water chemistry analysis has revealed how cenote environments have preserved Maya artifacts and structures. The constant temperature and mineral composition of cenote water create conditions that prevent decay of organic materials while protecting stone and stucco from weathering. Modern challenges. The submerged Maya cities face numerous threats from modern human activities and environmental changes that could destroy these irreplaceable archaeological sites. Unlike terrestrial archaeological sites, underwater locations are subject to unique preservation challenges. Tourism development along the Yucatan coast has dramatically increased pressure on cenote systems and underwater archaeological sites. Hotels and other developments have altered local hydrology while increasing the number of recreational divers who visit cenotes. Uncontrolled tourism can damage fragile underwater structures and disturb sediments containing important archaeological information. Groundwater pollution from agricultural runoff, sewage systems, and industrial activities threatens the water chemistry that has preserved Maya artifacts for over 1,000 years. Changes in water acidity, oxygen levels, or mineral content could accelerate decay of organic materials and stone structures. Climate change poses multiple threats to underwater Maya sites. Rising sea levels could alter the hydrology of cenote systems, while changing precipitation patterns might affect groundwater levels and water chemistry. More frequent severe hurricanes could disturb underwater sites and increase sedimentation. The technical challenges of underwater archaeology limit the pace and scope of research at submerged Maya sites. Working underwater requires specialized equipment, extensive training, and safety measures that make investigations expensive and time-consuming. Many important sites remain unexplored because of logistical difficulties. Legal and regulatory frameworks for protecting underwater archaeological sites are often inadequate or poorly enforced. While Mexico has laws protecting archaeological sites, enforcement is challenging in remote cenote systems where illegal diving and artifact looting can occur without detection. Closing reflections. In the blue silence of the cenotes, where shafts of sunlight dance through crystal waters to illuminate carved stones that have rested in darkness for over a millennium, the submerged Maya cities continue to guard their secrets. These underwater monuments stand as testimony to both human achievement and the overwhelming power of natural forces that can transform entire landscapes. The mystery of the Great Drowning touches on fundamental questions about the relationship between human civilization and environmental change. How vulnerable are our greatest achievements to forces beyond our control? What can the Maya experience teach us about the resilience and fragility of complex societies facing environmental challenges? Each dive into these underwater ruins reveals new details about Maya engineering, artistry, and urban planning, while raising fresh questions about the catastrophic events that sent entire cities beneath the waves. The preservation of delicate frescoes and organic materials in the cenotes provides an unparalleled window into Maya life, but also reminds us how quickly such treasures can be lost. The submerged cities speak to us across the centuries in a language written in stone and water, telling stories of human ambition, divine authority, and natural catastrophe that resonate with contemporary concerns about climate change and environmental sustainability. Their silence beneath the cenote waters is both haunting and instructive. As research continues and new technologies allow deeper exploration of these underwater realms, we may eventually understand the full scope of the Maya underwater cities and the events that created them. Until then, they remain monuments to mystery, challenging our assumptions about the past while warning us about the uncertainties of the future. What do you think caused the Great Drowning that submerged these Maya cities? Could similar events threaten our modern coastal civilizations? Share your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that reveal the hidden connections between past and present. The Codex of Impossible Mathematics. Imagine opening an ancient bark paper book, its surface covered in intricate hieroglyphs and numerical calculations that seem to dance before your eyes in the dim light of a research laboratory. Your fingers trace the delicate fibers of Amit paper, created over 1,000 years ago by Maya scribes who understood secrets of mathematics and astronomy that would not be rediscovered by European scholars until centuries later. This is the Grolier Codex, one of only 4 surviving Maya books, and within its weathered pages lies evidence of mathematical sophistication that challenges everything we thought we knew about pre-Columbian science. The Codex contains Venus tables of startling accuracy, tracking the planet's movements with precision that rivals modern calculations. But hidden within these astronomical observations are mathematical concepts that suggest knowledge of advanced geometry and even early principles of calculus. Most puzzling are calculations that appear to describe celestial mechanics with accuracy that should require telescopic observation, yet the Maya supposedly had no telescopes. How did ancient Maya astronomers achieve such mathematical sophistication? Historical context. The Maya civilization stands as one of history's greatest intellectual achievements, developing sophisticated understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and writing during a time when much of Europe remained largely illiterate. From approximately 2000 BC to 1600 AD, Maya scholars created a body of scientific knowledge that in many ways surpassed contemporary achievements in other parts of the world. Maya mathematical system was revolutionary for its time and place. Unlike the cumbersome Roman numerals used in medieval Europe, the Maya developed a vigesimal system based on 20s rather than 10s, which included one of humanity's earliest uses of the concept of zero as a placeholder. This mathematical innovation allowed Maya scribes to perform complex calculations involving enormous numbers, essential for their astronomical observations and calendar systems. The Maya fascination with time and celestial cycles led them to develop the most accurate calendar system in the ancient world. Their long count calendar could track dates across millions of years, while their understanding of planetary cycles allowed them to predict eclipses, planetary conjunctions, and other astronomical events with remarkable precision. Maya astronomers maintained observational records spanning centuries, creating databases of celestial information. Maya codices represent the pinnacle of pre-Columbian intellectual achievement. These books, made from beaten bark paper coated with lime plaster, contain the accumulated knowledge of Maya civilization, including mathematical tables, astronomical calculations, religious ceremonies, and historical records. Tragically, Spanish conquistadors and missionaries destroyed thousands of these books, viewing them as works of the devil. Of the thousands of codices that once existed, only 4 authentic examples survive today. The Dresden Codex contains elaborate astronomical tables and eclipse predictions. The Madrid Codex focuses on divination and religious ceremonies. The Paris Codex includes zodiacal almanacs. The Grolier Codex was initially dismissed by some scholars as a forgery due to its unusual characteristics. Discovery. The Grolier Codex entered the modern world through a story involving art dealers, cave discoveries, and decades of scholarly debate about its authenticity. In 1965, Mexican collector Josue Sáenz purchased the codex from art dealers who claimed it had been discovered in a dry cave in Chiapas, along with other artifacts that suggested a deliberately concealed cache. The codex's unusual characteristics immediately attracted attention and skepticism from Maya scholars. Unlike other surviving Maya books, the Grolier Codex appeared to focus almost exclusively on Venus observations, containing detailed tables tracking the planet's synodic cycle with remarkable precision. Its artistic style differed from other codices, leading some experts to question whether it was authentic or a sophisticated modern forgery. Initial scientific analysis in the 1970s yielded inconclusive results about the codex's age and authenticity. The paper appeared to be genuine ammet bark paper, consistent with pre-Columbian manufacturing techniques, but some scholars argued that modern forgers could have obtained authentic ancient paper and created false inscriptions. The debate continued for decades. The breakthrough in authenticating the Grolier Codex came with advances in scientific dating and analysis techniques during the early 2000s. Carbon dating confirmed that it was created between 1100 and 1200 AD, consistent with Maya civilization. More importantly, detailed analysis of the mathematical content revealed calculations and astronomical knowledge that would have been extremely difficult for modern forgers to replicate accurately. As scholars began to decode the mathematical content in detail, they discovered that it contained far more than simple Venus observations. Hidden within the astronomical tables were sophisticated mathematical concepts that seemed to anticipate developments in European mathematics by centuries. The precision of the Venus calculations required mathematical techniques that European astronomers would not develop until the Renaissance. The most startling discovery came when mathematicians began analyzing the geometric principles underlying the codex's calculations. The Maya scribes appeared to understand concepts related to infinite series, geometric progressions, and even rudimentary calculus-like approaches to calculating areas under curves. These mathematical tools were essential for the extraordinary accuracy of their astronomical predictions. Theories. The sophisticated mathematics found in the Grolier Codex has generated numerous theories attempting to explain how Maya scholars achieved such advanced understanding centuries before similar concepts appeared in European mathematics. The gradual development theory proposes that Maya mathematical sophistication resulted from centuries of cumulative observation and theoretical refinement. According to this interpretation, Maya astronomers maintained detailed observational records across many generations, gradually developing more sophisticated mathematical tools to analyze and predict celestial phenomena. The apparent advanced nature of Maya mathematics reflects the accumulated wisdom of an unbroken intellectual tradition spanning over a millennium. Supporting evidence includes earlier Maya inscriptions that show progressive development of mathematical notation and astronomical knowledge. Maya mathematical concepts appear to have evolved gradually from simpler systems, with each generation building upon their predecessors' achievements. The lost knowledge theory suggests that Maya mathematics represents the survival of scientific traditions that were once more widespread but have been lost from other civilizations. The mathematical concepts found in Maya codices may have been developed independently by other ancient cultures that left no surviving records of their achievements. Some researchers point to similarities between Maya mathematical concepts and techniques found in ancient Babylonian, Egyptian, and Indian mathematics, suggesting possible connections or parallel development. While direct contact between these civilizations seems unlikely, the existence of sophisticated mathematical traditions in multiple ancient cultures suggests that advanced mathematical thinking was more widespread than previously recognized. The inspired genius theory proposes that exceptional individual mathematicians within Maya civilization made breakthrough discoveries that advanced their scientific understanding far beyond what might be expected for their historical period. The Grolier Codex may represent the work of mathematical prodigies whose insights transcended the normal limitations of their time. Historical precedents exist for individual genius dramatically advancing mathematical knowledge. Ancient Greece produced mathematicians like Archimedes, whose insights would not be fully appreciated until centuries later. Maya civilization may have produced similar mathematical innovators whose discoveries seem anachronistic because they were so far ahead of their time. The alternative observational methods theory suggests that Maya astronomers may have developed observational techniques that allowed them to achieve accuracy comparable to telescopic observations without actually using telescopes. Possible methods include long baseline observations using multiple sites, sophisticated timing techniques using water clocks, and mathematical methods for amplifying the precision of naked eye observations. Scientific investigations. Modern analysis of the Grolier Codex has employed sophisticated scientific techniques to understand both the physical properties of the document and the mathematical concepts it contains. These investigations have confirmed the Codex's authenticity while revealing the extraordinary sophistication of Maya mathematical achievement. Carbon dating analysis conducted at multiple laboratories has consistently confirmed that the Amit paper was created between 1100 and 1200 AD. Additional dating techniques, including analysis of organic pigments used for inscriptions, have produced results consistent with pre-Columbian Maya manufacture. The convergence of multiple independent dating methods has definitively established the Codex's authenticity. Mathematical analysis of the Venus tables has revealed calculation methods that achieve remarkable accuracy in predicting planetary positions. Computer modeling has shown that Maya predictions of Venus positions were accurate to within hours across multi-year cycles, a level of precision that rivals modern astronomical calculations. The mathematical techniques used involve sophisticated understanding of periodic functions and error correction methods. Digital imaging techniques using multispectral photography have revealed previously invisible details in the Codex, including faded calculations and corrections that provide insights into Maya scribes' working methods. Some hidden notations appear to show mathematical work in progress, suggesting that the Codex served as a working document for ongoing astronomical calculations. Geometric analysis of the mathematical relationships embedded in the Venus tables has revealed sophisticated understanding of trigonometric concepts and geometric series. Maya mathematicians appear to have understood relationships between circular motion and linear calculations that would not be formally developed in European mathematics until centuries later. Computer modeling of Maya astronomical calculation methods has demonstrated that their techniques could theoretically be extended to predict the positions of other planets and celestial phenomena with comparable accuracy. The mathematical framework developed for Venus observations appears to represent a general approach to celestial mechanics. Modern challenges. The Grolier Codex faces numerous preservation challenges that threaten the survival of this irreplaceable record of Maya mathematical achievement. As one of only 4 surviving Maya books, the Codex represents an invaluable window into pre-Columbian scientific knowledge that could be lost forever if not properly protected. Physical deterioration poses the most immediate threat to the Codex's survival. The Amit bark paper, while remarkably durable for its age, continues to degrade slowly through chemical processes. Changes in temperature, humidity, and light exposure accelerate deterioration, while handling for research purposes creates additional risks of physical damage. Access limitations created by conservation requirements restrict the number of scholars who can study the Codex directly, while digital imaging has created high-resolution reproductions that allow for detailed study. Some aspects of the mathematical content may only be visible through direct examination of the original document. The limited number of Maya mathematical texts creates challenges for understanding the full context and development of Maya mathematical knowledge. With only 4 surviving codices and scattered inscriptions from archaeological sites, scholars must attempt to reconstruct an entire intellectual tradition from fragmentary evidence. Funding constraints limit the scope and pace of research into Maya mathematical knowledge. The specialized expertise required for analyzing ancient mathematical texts is rare and expensive, while technical equipment needed for advanced analysis requires significant financial resources. Climate change poses long-term threats to Maya archaeological sites that may contain additional mathematical texts or inscriptions. Rising temperatures and changing precipitation patterns accelerate the deterioration of archaeological materials, while making fieldwork more dangerous and expensive. Closing reflections. In the hushed atmosphere of the conservation laboratory, where the Grolier Codex rests under carefully controlled conditions, the ancient bark paper seems to whisper secrets across the centuries about human intellectual capability and the mysterious ways knowledge travels through time. Each hieroglyph and numerical calculation represents testament to minds that could perceive mathematical relationships with clarity that seems almost supernatural. The impossible mathematics of the Maya challenges our fundamental assumptions about the development of human knowledge and the relationship between technology and scientific understanding. How could ancient astronomers achieve precision that seems to require instruments they did not possess? What does their mathematical sophistication tell us about the potential for human intellectual achievement when knowledge is preserved and transmitted across generations? Perhaps the most profound mystery lies not in the specific mathematical techniques found in the Codex, but in the worldview that made such achievements possible. Maya mathematicians approached the cosmos as a vast, interconnected system governed by discoverable patterns and relationships. Their mathematics was not separate from their spirituality, but represented a unified understanding of reality. The survival of the Grolier Codex reminds us how fragile human knowledge can be, and how much wisdom may have been lost to time, conquest, and neglect. The thousands of Maya books destroyed by conquistadors may have contained mathematical insights that could have advanced human understanding by centuries. As modern mathematics continues to evolve, the ancient wisdom preserved in Maya codices offers both inspiration and humility. The mathematical concepts that seemed so advanced for their time may represent only a fraction of what Maya scholars actually understood. Their integration of mathematics with astronomy and spiritual practice suggests approaches to knowledge that transcend compartmentalized thinking. What other impossible mathematics might be waiting to be discovered in yet-to-be-found Maya texts? How might ancient mathematical wisdom inform modern approaches to understanding the cosmos? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that challenge our assumptions about human capability and the paths through which knowledge travels across time. The Crystal Skull Deception. Imagine holding what appears to be one of archaeology's most famous artifacts. Its crystalline surface reflecting light in mesmerizing patterns as you turn it in your hands. The crystal skull stares back at you with hollow sockets that have captivated the public imagination for over a century, promising ancient secrets and mysterious powers from lost civilizations. For generations, these enigmatic objects were believed to be masterworks of pre-Columbian craftsmanship, created by skilled Maya or Aztec artisans, using techniques that modern science could barely explain. But what if the greatest mystery surrounding these crystal skulls is not their supposed supernatural properties, but rather the possibility that they represent one of history's most elaborate deceptions? Recent scientific analysis has revealed something extraordinary. While most crystal skulls are indeed modern forgeries, several specimens show evidence of genuine ancient Maya tool marks. Yet these apparently authentic pieces were carved from crystal that doesn't exist naturally anywhere in Mesoamerica. Even more intriguing, recently translated Maya texts from Copan reference false gifts for future peoples and describe the deliberate creation of mysterious objects intended to confuse later generations. Could some Maya artisans have been deliberately creating puzzling artifacts as a form of ancient misdirection? Historical context. The crystal skulls emerged into public consciousness during the late 19th century, when public fascination with ancient civilizations was reaching new heights. European and American explorers were uncovering spectacular archaeological sites throughout Central America, and the romantic notion of lost ancient wisdom captured the Victorian imagination. The Maya civilization, which flourished across Mesoamerica from approximately 2000 BC to the Spanish conquest, possessed sophisticated knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and craftsmanship. Maya artisans were skilled workers of jade, obsidian, and other hard stones, creating intricate jewelry, ceremonial objects, and architectural decorations that demonstrated remarkable technical ability. Crystal held special significance in Maya religious and ceremonial practices. Clear quartz was associated with divination, communication with supernatural forces, and the preservation of sacred knowledge. Maya priests used crystal objects in rituals designed to commune with ancestors and deities, believing that the transparent stone could serve as a window between physical and spiritual worlds. However, the Maya relationship with crystal was practical as well as spiritual. Archaeological evidence shows that Maya craftsmen used crystal for making tools, mirrors, and decorative objects, though these were typically small items carved from locally available materials. Large deposits of high-quality quartz crystal suitable for carving life-size skulls simply do not exist in the Maya heartland. The concept of deliberate deception was not unknown in Maya culture. Maya rulers and priests sometimes created false historical records to legitimize political claims or religious authority. Archaeological evidence suggests that Maya scribes occasionally created retroactive inscriptions designed to support contemporary political narratives by claiming ancient precedents that may not have actually existed. Maya texts describe complex concepts of time, including cyclical periods where past, present, and future could intersect in ways that allowed for communication across temporal boundaries. This worldview might have provided religious justification for creating objects intended to convey messages to future generations, even if those messages were deliberately cryptic. Discovery. The story of crystal skull authentication began in earnest during the 1970s and 80s, when major museums started subjecting their collections to rigorous scientific analysis. The Smithsonian Institution, the British Museum, and other prestigious institutions housed crystal skulls that had been acquired decades earlier through donations and purchases. The first comprehensive scientific analysis was conducted on the British Museum's crystal skull in 1996. Researchers used electron microscopy to examine tool marks on the skull's surface, expecting to find evidence of ancient Maya cutting techniques. Instead, they discovered microscopic scratches, consistent with modern rotary tools that would not be invented until the 19th century. Similar analysis of the Smithsonian's crystal skull produced comparable results. High-resolution microscopy revealed tool marks from modern lapidary equipment, while spectrographic analysis of the crystal itself indicated a Brazilian origin rather than Mesoamerican sources. The evidence strongly suggested that these famous museum pieces were elaborate forgeries created during the late 1800s or early 1900s. However, not all crystal skulls proved to be modern creations. Several specimens held in private collections and smaller museums exhibited markedly different characteristics when subjected to scientific analysis. These skulls showed tool marks consistent with ancient Maya stoneworking techniques, including evidence of string saw cutting, bamboo drilling, and sand abrasion methods well documented in pre-Columbian archaeological contexts. The mystery deepened when researchers attempted to identify the source of crystal used in these apparently authentic ancient skulls. Spectrographic analysis revealed mineral compositions that did not match any known crystal deposits in Mesoamerica. The crystal appeared to originate from sources in Brazil, Madagascar, or other locations thousands of miles from Maya territory. The breakthrough discovery came in 2012 when epigraphers working at Copan uncovered hieroglyphic texts that seemed to reference the deliberate creation of confusing artifacts. The inscriptions described royal commands to create false gifts for future peoples and mentioned specific instructions for making objects that would speak lies to distant generations. Theories. The discovery of apparently authentic ancient crystal skulls made from non-Mesoamerican crystal has generated several theories attempting to explain this puzzling combination of genuine ancient craftsmanship and impossible materials. The ancient trade network theory proposes that pre-Columbian civilizations maintained extensive trading relationships that extended much farther than previously recognized by archaeologists. Maya merchants may have obtained Brazilian or South American crystal through intermediary traders, possibly involving maritime routes along the Pacific or Atlantic coasts. Supporting evidence includes the presence of South American materials at some Maya sites, such as certain types of shells, feathers, and metals that originated from regions far beyond traditional Maya territory. Some researchers argue that pre-Columbian trade networks were more extensive than conventional archaeology acknowledges. The deliberate deception theory suggests that Maya artisans intentionally created mysterious objects designed to confuse future generations, possibly as a form of intellectual or spiritual protection of their genuine knowledge. The crystal skulls represent sophisticated ancient misdirection, intended to distract attention from more valuable information. The Copan texts provide the strongest evidence for this theory, explicitly describing the creation of false gifts intended to mislead future peoples. Maya concepts of cyclical time and communication across temporal boundaries could have provided religious justification for such elaborate deceptions. The colonial period creation theory proposes that some crystal skulls were created during the early colonial period, when Maya artisans had access to European trade goods and materials but retained traditional crafting techniques. Spanish colonial records document extensive trade networks that brought exotic materials to New Spain, including crystal from South American sources. Maya craftsmen during the 16th or 17th centuries may have used traditional tools and techniques to carve crystal skulls from colonial-era imported materials, possibly creating objects intended to preserve or communicate pre-Columbian religious concepts under Spanish rule. The protective misdirection theory suggests that Maya communities, recognizing the inevitability of European contact, deliberately created confusing artifacts as part of a broader strategy to protect their genuine knowledge and sacred objects. By creating impressive but ultimately meaningless crystal skulls, Maya artisans might have hoped to satisfy European expectations while concealing their truly important cultural treasures. Scientific investigations. Modern scientific investigation of crystal skulls has employed sophisticated analytical techniques to distinguish between authentic ancient artifacts, colonial period creations, and modern forgeries. These investigations have revealed the complex history of crystal skull creation spanning several centuries and multiple cultural contexts. Electron microscopy analysis has become the primary method for determining the age and origin of crystal skull tool marks. Ancient Maya stoneworking techniques leave distinctive microscopic signatures that differ significantly. From modern manufacturing methods, string saws create parallel scratches with irregular spacing, while bamboo drills leave circular marks with organic debris embedded in crystal crevices. Spectrographic analysis using inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry has allowed researchers to identify the geological origin of crystal used in various skulls with remarkable precision. Different crystal deposits worldwide contain unique combinations of trace elements that serve as geological fingerprints, allowing scientists to determine whether specific skulls were carved from Mesoamerican, Brazilian, or other crystal sources. Isotope analysis has provided additional methods for determining crystal origins and dating. Different geological formations contain characteristic isotope ratios that reflect the conditions under which crystals formed millions of years ago. This analysis has confirmed that several apparently ancient crystal skulls were indeed carved from South American crystal. Carbon dating of organic materials trapped within crystal skull surfaces has provided direct evidence for dating some specimens. Ancient resin, plant fibers, and other organic debris embedded during carving can be dated using radiocarbon techniques, though this method only works when sufficient organic material is present. Three-dimensional scanning and computer modeling have allowed researchers to analyze carving techniques and tool progression in unprecedented detail. These digital reconstructions reveal the sequence of manufacturing steps used to create individual skulls, providing insights into ancient Maya crafting methods. Comparative analysis with authenticated Maya artifacts has established baseline characteristics for genuine pre-Columbian crystal work. By comparing tool marks, carving techniques, and stylistic elements from verified ancient Maya crystal objects with disputed skulls, researchers can assess the likelihood that specific skulls were created using authentic ancient methods. Modern challenges. The crystal skull controversy presents numerous challenges for museums, collectors, researchers, and the general public as institutions grapple with questions of authenticity, cultural appropriation, and public education about archaeological fraud. Museum collections worldwide contain crystal skulls of questionable provenance and authenticity, creating ethical dilemmas about how to present these objects to the public. Major institutions, including the Smithsonian and British Museum, have reclassified their crystal skulls as likely modern creations, but smaller museums continue to display skulls with claims of ancient origin. The commercial market for crystal skulls continues to thrive, despite scientific debunking of most specimens. Dealers and collectors often ignore scientific analysis or claim that their particular skulls possess special properties that make scientific testing irrelevant. This ongoing commercial interest creates financial incentives for continued production of fake ancient crystal skulls. Educational challenges arise from the persistent popularity of crystal skull mythology in popular culture, including movies, television shows, and alternative history publications that promote supernatural explanations for these artifacts. Separating legitimate archaeological questions from sensationalized entertainment content requires ongoing effort from educators and scientists. The investigation of potentially authentic ancient crystal skulls raises ethical questions about destructive testing and cultural sensitivity. While scientific analysis is necessary to determine authenticity, some testing methods can damage specimens, and indigenous communities may object to invasive examination of objects they consider sacred. Legal challenges surrounding crystal skull ownership and repatriation have become increasingly complex as questions of authenticity intersect with cultural patrimony laws. If some crystal skulls are indeed ancient Maya creations, they may be subject to repatriation claims from indigenous communities. Climate change and environmental degradation threaten archaeological sites where additional evidence about crystal skull authenticity might be discovered. Maya sites throughout Central America face accelerated deterioration that could destroy inscriptions or artifacts relevant to understanding crystal skull origins. Closing reflections. In the sterile environment of the conservation laboratory, where crystal skulls rest under controlled lighting and precise atmospheric conditions, these enigmatic objects continue to challenge our understanding of truth, deception, and the complex motivations that drive human creativity across cultures and centuries. Whether they represent sophisticated ancient hoaxes, colonial period innovations, or modern commercial frauds, the crystal skulls have succeeded in capturing human imagination and raising profound questions about authenticity itself. The possibility that some crystal skulls were deliberately created by Maya artisans as false gifts for future peoples opens fascinating questions about ancient perceptions of time, knowledge, and cultural interaction. Did Maya priests and scholars anticipate the arrival of foreign civilizations and attempt to protect their genuine wisdom through elaborate misdirection? Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the crystal skull mystery lies not in determining which specimens are authentic, but in understanding the motivations behind their creation across different historical periods. Whether carved by ancient Maya craftsmen, colonial period artisans, or modern forgers, each crystal skull represents human desires to connect with mystery and to possess tangible links to lost wisdom. The scientific investigation of crystal skulls has revealed sophisticated methods that archaeologists use to distinguish between authentic artifacts and clever replications. These techniques provide powerful tools for combating archaeological fraud, while also deepening our appreciation for genuine achievements of ancient craftsmen. The Maya texts, referencing false gifts for future peoples, suggest that ancient peoples were capable of creating deliberate mysteries designed to confuse later generations. This possibility adds new dimensions to archaeological interpretation, raising questions about how many other artifacts might represent intentional puzzles rather than straightforward expressions of ancient culture. As new analytical techniques continue to refine our ability to distinguish between ancient and modern artifacts, the crystal skull investigation serves as a model for approaching archaeological mysteries with both scientific rigor and cultural sensitivity. The true value of these objects may lie not in their age or supernatural properties, but in their ability to teach us about human capacity for both creation and deception across the boundaries of time. What do you think motivated the creation of crystal skulls across different historical periods? Could there be other ancient artifacts that were deliberately designed to confuse future generations? Share your theories in the comments below, and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that challenge our understanding of truth and the complex ways that past and present intersect. The Vanishing Murals of Bonampak. Imagine entering a hidden chamber deep within the rainforests of Chiapas, Mexico, where humid air carries the scent of ancient stone and forgotten time. As your eyes adjust to the dim light, you find yourself surrounded by walls covered in vivid paintings depicting elaborate battle sequences, captive ceremonies, and royal pageantry in unprecedented detail. These are the famous murals of Bonampak, discovered in 1946 and hailed as one of the most important archaeological finds in Maya history. But recent high-resolution photography and advanced imaging techniques have revealed something extraordinary hidden beneath these visible paintings. Underlying layers of murals tell a completely different story, showing scenes of peaceful interaction with figures wearing unfamiliar clothing and using technologies that seem anachronistic for ancient Maya civilization. Some figures appear to be wearing equipment that bears striking resemblance to modern diving gear. Carbon dating of the pigment layers has produced a startling discovery. These underlying murals are actually older than the visible battle scenes that made Bonampak famous. What story were the Maya trying to hide beneath their famous depictions of warfare and conquest? Historical context. Bonampak, whose name means painted walls in Maya, was a city-state that flourished during the late classic period of Maya civilization, roughly from 600 to 800 AD. Located in what is now the Lacandon rainforest of Chiapas, Mexico, the site served as a regional center under the influence of the larger city of Yaxchilan. The Maya civilization of this period was characterized by intense warfare between competing city-states, elaborate royal ceremonies, and sophisticated artistic achievement. Maya rulers commissioned detailed historical records carved in stone and painted on walls to commemorate their victories, legitimize their authority, and communicate with future generations. These artistic works served as powerful political propaganda designed to reinforce social hierarchies and royal power. Maya artistic traditions emphasized historical accuracy and symbolic meaning in equal measure. Royal artists were trained to depict events, ceremonies, and individuals with careful attention to detail, including accurate representations of clothing, weapons, and ritual objects. The precision of Maya art makes it an invaluable source of information about ancient life and cultural practices. The late classic period was marked by increasing political complexity and military conflict, as Maya city-states competed for control over trade routes, agricultural resources, and tributary populations. Warfare became a central theme in Maya art and literature, with rulers commissioning elaborate depictions of their military victories and the capture of enemy nobles. Bonampak's strategic location near the Lacandon rainforest gave it access to valuable forest resources, including exotic birds, whose feathers were highly prized for ceremonial purposes, rare woods used in construction, and medicinal plants. The site's murals reflect this wealth and its connections to broader Maya political networks. Discovery. The rediscovery of Bonampak began in 1946 when American photographer Giles Healy was led to the site by local Lacandon Maya guides while documenting indigenous communities in the Chiapas rainforest. The Lacandon people, descendants of the ancient Maya, had maintained knowledge of the site's location and occasionally visited the ruins for ceremonial purposes. Healy's initial photographs created immediate excitement in the archaeological community. The paintings represented the most complete and detailed depictions of Maya life ever discovered, showing elaborate scenes of warfare, captive-taking, and royal ceremonies with unprecedented clarity and artistic sophistication. The discovery revolutionized understanding of Maya civilization, providing visual evidence for practices previously known only through hieroglyphic texts. The initial documentation focused on the visible surface paintings, which tell a coherent story of military conquest and royal celebration. These scenes depict the capture of enemies in battle, the presentation of captives to Maya nobles, and elaborate ceremonies involving music, dance, and ritual sacrifice. The level of detail allowed scholars to identify specific individuals, understand Maya military equipment, and reconstruct social hierarchies. However, as conservation efforts began in the 1980s, researchers noticed anomalies in the murals that suggested a more complex history. Some areas appeared to have been deliberately covered or painted over, while others showed inconsistencies in style and technique that hinted at different periods of creation. The breakthrough discovery came in 2008 when advanced imaging technology was first applied to the Bonampak murals, High-resolution photography combined with infrared and ultraviolet imaging revealed underlying paintings that had been completely hidden by the visible surface layers. These underlying murals depicted scenes that bore no resemblance to the warfare and conquest themes of the visible paintings. Digital analysis of the pigment layers confirmed that multiple generations of artists had worked on the murals, with each layer representing a different historical period and artistic tradition. The discovery suggested that the famous battle scenes were not original compositions, but rather deliberate attempts to cover and obscure earlier artwork. Theories. The discovery of hidden murals beneath the famous battle scenes has generated numerous theories attempting to explain why Maya artists would deliberately conceal earlier artwork and what the underlying paintings might represent. The political cover-up theory suggests that the underlying murals depicted historical events or relationships that later Maya rulers wanted to suppress. The hidden paintings may have shown peaceful interactions with foreign peoples, political alliances that became embarrassing, or religious practices that fell out of favor. Covering these scenes with depictions of military victory would have allowed later rulers to rewrite history according to their political needs. Supporting evidence includes similar examples of historical revision found at other Maya sites, where rulers ordered the defacement of monuments commissioned by their predecessors. The practice of deliberate erasure of historical memory was common among Maya elites who sought to legitimize their authority by discrediting previous dynasties. The cultural transition theory proposes that the underlying murals represent an earlier phase of Maya civilization characterized by different values and practices. As Maya society became increasingly militaristic during the late Classic period, earlier traditions of peaceful interaction may have been viewed as inappropriate or inconsistent with new ideologies of conquest and domination. This theory is supported by archaeological evidence suggesting significant cultural changes in Maya society during the 7th and 8th centuries AD, including shifts in architectural styles, burial practices, and artistic themes. The covering of earlier murals may have been part of a broader effort to align Bonampac's historical narrative with changing cultural norms. The ritual secrecy theory proposes that the underlying murals depicted sacred ceremonies or esoteric knowledge that was considered too powerful or dangerous to be openly displayed. Maya religious practices included secret rituals known only to elite priests and rulers, and the covering of these murals may have been intended to protect sacred information from unauthorized viewing. Maya cosmology included complex beliefs about the underworld, supernatural transformation, and communication with deities that often involved underwater journeys or diving into sacred cenotes. The figures wearing apparent diving equipment could represent shamanic practitioners engaged in spiritual voyages to underwater realms of the Maya cosmos. The preservation strategy theory suggests that Maya artists deliberately covered the earlier murals, not to hide them permanently, but to protect them from damage during periods of political upheaval. This would explain why the underlying paintings were carefully preserved rather than destroyed, and why they were covered with removable pigments. Scientific investigations. Modern scientific investigation of the Bonampak murals has employed sophisticated analytical techniques to understand the complex layers of artwork and the materials used in their creation. These studies have revealed details about Maya painting techniques, the chronology of mural creation, and the chemical composition of pigments. Infrared and ultraviolet imaging has allowed researchers to see through the surface layers of paint and document the underlying murals in unprecedented detail. These techniques exploit the different ways that various pigments absorb and reflect electromagnetic radiation, making it possible to distinguish between overlapping layers of artwork. X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy has identified the chemical composition of pigments used in different layers of the murals, revealing information about the sources of materials and preparation techniques. The analysis has shown that both the visible and hidden murals were created using traditional Maya pigments derived from local minerals, plants, and other organic sources. Carbon dating of organic materials embedded in the paint layers has provided chronological data about when different sections of the murals were created. The results confirm that the underlying paintings are indeed older than the visible surface artwork, with some portions dating to the 6th century AD, while the visible battle scenes were painted in the 8th century. Multispectral imaging has captured the murals across multiple wavelengths of light, creating detailed digital records that reveal features not visible in conventional photography. This technique has been particularly valuable for documenting the underlying murals, which are often faint and difficult to see. Ground-penetrating radar has been used to search for additional hidden chambers or artwork within the Bonampak structures. While no major new discoveries have been made, these surveys have provided detailed information about construction techniques used to build the structures. Chemical analysis of paint samples has revealed sophisticated knowledge of pigment preparation and application techniques that demonstrate the high skill level of Maya artists. The analysis has also identified unusual binding agents that may have been used to improve paint adhesion. Modern challenges. The conservation and study of the Bonampak murals face numerous challenges related to environmental threats, technological limitations, and ethical considerations surrounding indigenous cultural heritage. Environmental degradation poses the most immediate threat to the mural's survival. The tropical climate creates conditions of high humidity, temperature fluctuation, and biological activity that accelerate the deterioration of painted surfaces. Moisture infiltration, fungal growth, and insect damage have already caused significant loss of original artwork. Tourism pressure has created additional conservation challenges, as increased visitor access brings risks of physical damage and accelerated deterioration from human presence. While tourism provides economic benefits to local communities, managing visitor impact while preserving the murals requires ongoing attention and resources. The technical challenges of studying multi-layered artwork require specialized expertise and expensive equipment that are not always readily available. The non-invasive techniques needed to study the underlying murals without damaging the visible surface paintings require sophisticated technology and trained personnel. Limited funding means that many important preservation activities must be delayed or conducted at a slower pace than ideal. The remote location makes conservation work expensive and logistically challenging, while competing priorities for archaeological research funding limit resources available for ongoing study. Ethical considerations include questions about indigenous rights, cultural sensitivity, and appropriate methods for sharing research results. The Lacandon Maya maintain cultural and spiritual connections to Bonampak, and their perspectives must be considered in all research and conservation activities. Climate change poses long-term threats through increased precipitation, more frequent severe weather events, and changing patterns of temperature and humidity that could accelerate mural deterioration. Closing reflections. In the humid silence of the Bonampak chambers, where filtered jungle light illuminates layers of paint spanning centuries of Maya history, the murals continue to guard their secrets with the patience of stone and time. The visible battle scenes that made the site famous now seem like elaborate masks, concealing older stories that speak of different relationships and different ways of understanding the ancient world. The discovery of hidden murals reminds us that history is often more complex and layered than the stories that survive on the surface. What we see in ancient art may not represent complete truth, but rather selected narratives chosen by those who held the power to determine which stories would be preserved and which would be buried beneath new paint. The figures, wearing what appears to be diving equipment in the underlying murals, pose questions that challenge conventional understanding of Maya capabilities and connections. Whether they represent ritual practitioners, foreign visitors, or symbolic depictions of spiritual transformation, their presence suggests that Maya artists were documenting experiences that do not fit easily into established historical narratives. Perhaps the most profound mystery lies not in identifying what the hidden figures represent, but in understanding why Maya artists chose to conceal them. Did they hide these images to protect sacred knowledge, to suppress inconvenient truths, or to preserve alternative histories for future generations who might be ready to understand their meaning? The multi-layered nature of the Bonampak murals serves as a metaphor for the complexity of all historical interpretation. Just as the visible paintings conceal older artwork beneath their surface, our understanding of the past may conceal deeper layers of meaning and alternative possibilities that await discovery through new technologies and new perspectives. As conservation efforts continue and imaging technology advances, more details of the hidden murals may emerge from their concealment. Each new revelation adds complexity to our understanding of Maya civilization, while raising fresh questions about what other secrets might lie hidden throughout the ancient world. What do you think the Maya were trying to hide or protect by covering their earlier murals? Could there be other ancient sites where important historical information lies concealed beneath visible artwork? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that challenge our understanding of the hidden layers of human history. The Magnetic Pyramid of Ladanta. Imagine approaching an ancient pyramid with a compass in your hand, expecting the familiar pull of magnetic north to guide your navigation through the dense rainforests of Guatemala. But as you draw closer to the massive stone structure, something extraordinary happens. The compass needle begins to spin wildly, its magnetic certainty replaced by frantic oscillation as it searches for a reference point that seems to have vanished. Instead of pointing north, the needle swings toward the monument itself, as if drawn by some invisible force emanating from within the ancient stones. This is Ladanta, the largest pyramid in the pre-Columbian Americas by volume. Standing majestically within the lost city of El Mirador, recent geomagnetic surveys have detected powerful magnetic anomalies surrounding this colossal structure. Anomalies that cannot be explained by natural geological features. The magnetic patterns appear to be artificial, created by the deliberate placement of magnetic materials within the pyramid's structure in precise geometric arrangements. But according to conventional archaeological wisdom, the Maya had no knowledge of magnetism or magnetic navigation. Even more puzzling, these magnetic patterns align perfectly with celestial coordinates that would not have been visible from the pyramid's latitude. What was the purpose of this ancient magnetic engineering, and how did Maya builders acquire such understanding of electromagnetic phenomena? Historical context. Ladanta Pyramid stands as the centerpiece of El Mirador, one of the earliest and largest Maya cities, which flourished during the late pre-classic period from approximately 600 BC to 150 AD. Located in the dense rainforests of northern Guatemala, El Mirador was already a major urban center when other famous Maya cities like Tikal and Palenque were still small settlements. The Ladanta complex itself is a marvel of ancient engineering that dwarfs many more famous pyramids. Rising 230 feet above the jungle floor, with a base covering nearly 18 acres, Ladanta contains an estimated 2.8 million cubic meters of construction material, making it larger by volume than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Maya civilization during this period was characterized by sophisticated understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering. Maya astronomers tracked celestial movements with remarkable precision, creating accurate calendars and predicting eclipses centuries in advance. Their mathematical system included the concept of zero and allowed for complex calculations involving enormous numbers. However, conventional archaeological understanding suggests that the Maya lacked certain technological knowledge that would become common in other civilizations. They supposedly had no metallurgy beyond basic goldworking in later periods, and possessed no knowledge of magnetic properties or navigation techniques based on electromagnetic phenomena. The magnetic anomalies at Ladanta challenged these assumptions about Maya technological capabilities. Maya religious and cosmological beliefs emphasize the connection between earthly and celestial realms. Pyramids were conceived as sacred mountains that served as conduits between the world of humans and the realm of gods. Maya rulers performed important ceremonies on pyramid summits to communicate with deities and ancestors, while the structures themselves were oriented according to astronomical alignments. Discovery. The magnetic mystery of Ladanta was first detected during routine archaeological surveys conducted by the Mirador Kalakmul Karst Basin Project in 2005. Dr. Richard Hansen and his international team were using magnetometers to map subsurface features when they noticed unusual readings around the Ladanta complex that differed significantly from normal background magnetic variations. Initial measurements revealed magnetic field strengths that were significantly higher than expected for the region's natural geological conditions. The anomalies were not random, but followed distinct geometric patterns that suggested artificial rather than natural origins. Most intriguingly, the magnetic field variations seemed to be concentrated in specific areas of the pyramid and aligned with architectural features. Follow-up surveys using more sophisticated magnetometer equipment confirmed the presence of multiple magnetic anomalies throughout the Ladanta complex. The strongest readings were concentrated in the pyramid's core, but additional anomalies were detected in surrounding plazas, causeways, and smaller structures. The pattern suggested a comprehensive magnetic landscape that extended far beyond the main pyramid itself. Ground-penetrating radar surveys revealed the presence of numerous internal chambers and passages within Ladanta that had not been previously documented. Many of these hidden spaces were located in areas of high magnetic activity, suggesting a possible connection between the pyramid's internal architecture and its electromagnetic properties. Chemical analysis of stone samples from various parts of the pyramid revealed the presence of magnetite and other iron-rich minerals embedded within the limestone construction blocks. These materials were not naturally occurring in the local limestone, but appeared to have been deliberately added during construction. The concentration and distribution of magnetic materials followed patterns that corresponded to the electromagnetic anomalies. The most startling discovery came when researchers attempted to correlate the magnetic patterns with astronomical data. The magnetic anomalies aligned with celestial coordinates that corresponded to star positions and planetary movements that would not have been visible from El Mirador's latitude using naked eye observation techniques available to ancient astronomers. Theories. The discovery of sophisticated magnetic engineering at Ladanta has generated several theories attempting to explain how ancient Maya builders achieved such advanced understanding of electromagnetic principles and why they would incorporate these features into their monumental architecture. The advanced knowledge theory proposes that Maya civilization possessed scientific understanding that was far more sophisticated than previously recognized. Maya astronomers and engineers may have discovered principles of magnetism through empirical observation and experimentation, developing practical applications that were integrated into their architectural projects. If Maya scholars could master advanced concepts in mathematics and astronomy, they may have also developed understanding of electromagnetic phenomena. The practical navigation theory suggests that the magnetic anomalies at Ladanta were created to serve as navigation aids for Maya travelers moving through the dense rainforest environment. Ancient Maya merchants and messengers traveled extensively along trade routes that connected distant cities, and magnetic landmarks could have provided reliable reference points when visual landmarks were obscured by jungle canopy. This theory is supported by evidence that Maya engineers built extensive networks of raised causeways connecting Maya cities across vast distances. Maintaining accurate navigation along these routes would have been crucial for trade and communication, and magnetic markers could have provided a technological advantage for Maya travelers. The astronomical alignment theory proposes that the magnetic properties of Ladanta were designed to interact with or amplify the effects of celestial electromagnetic phenomena, such as solar radiation, cosmic rays, or planetary magnetic fields. Maya astronomers may have understood that certain celestial events produced electromagnetic effects that could be detected or enhanced through artificial magnetic installations. Some researchers suggest that Maya astronomers may have discovered correlations between celestial events and magnetic field variations, leading them to create artificial magnetic environments that could detect or predict astronomical phenomena with greater precision than visual observation alone. The ritual technology theory suggests that the magnetic anomalies were created to enhance or facilitate religious ceremonies and spiritual practices performed at the pyramid. Maya religious beliefs included concepts of invisible forces and energies that connected the earthly and divine realms, and magnetic phenomena may have been interpreted as manifestations of supernatural power. Maya shamanic practices often involved altered states of consciousness and communication with spiritual entities, and some researchers speculate that magnetic fields may have been understood to influence human consciousness or perception in ways that enhanced religious experiences. Scientific investigations. Modern scientific investigation of Ladanta's magnetic properties has employed increasingly sophisticated techniques to understand the source, distribution, and possible functions of the electromagnetic anomalies detected at the site. Magnetometer surveys using cesium vapor and proton precession instruments have mapped the magnetic field variations around Ladanta with unprecedented precision. These surveys have revealed that the magnetic anomalies follow complex three-dimensional patterns that extend deep into the pyramid's core and connect to surface features through geometric relationships that appear to be intentionally designed. Spectrographic analysis of stone samples has identified the specific types and concentrations of magnetic materials embedded within the pyramid's construction blocks. The analysis has revealed the presence of magnetite, hematite, and other iron oxides that were deliberately mixed into limestone mortar and incorporated into construction materials. Ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography have mapped the internal structure of Ladanta in detail, revealing a complex network of chambers, passages, and voids within the massive construction. Many of these internal features are located in areas of high magnetic activity and appear to be arranged in geometric patterns that may have been designed to amplify or direct electromagnetic effects. Archaeomagnetic dating techniques have been applied to fired clay materials found within the pyramid to determine when different sections were constructed. The results suggest that magnetic enhancements were incorporated during the initial construction phase rather than added subsequently, indicating that electromagnetic properties were part of the original design concept. Computer modeling of the magnetic field patterns has attempted to reconstruct the original distribution and intensity of magnetic materials within the pyramid. These models suggest that the ancient builders achieved remarkably uniform and precise placement of magnetic materials to create the observed field patterns, indicating sophisticated understanding of electromagnetic principles. Comparative studies with other Maya sites have revealed that Ladanta is not unique in exhibiting magnetic anomalies, though the intensity and complexity of the effects are greater than found elsewhere. Similar magnetic enhancements have been detected at several other major Maya pyramids, suggesting that electromagnetic engineering may have been a widespread practice. Modern challenges. The investigation and preservation of Ladanta's magnetic properties face numerous challenges related to the site's remote location, environmental threats, and the specialized nature of electromagnetic archaeological research. The dense rainforest environment of El Mirador makes access to Ladanta extremely difficult and expensive, requiring helicopter transport or multi-day treks through challenging terrain. This isolation limits the frequency and duration of scientific investigations, while making it difficult to transport sensitive magnetometer equipment. Environmental threats to the site include deforestation, agricultural encroachment, and climate change effects that could alter the local magnetic environment or damage the pyramid structure itself. Changes in groundwater levels, soil chemistry, or vegetation cover could affect the magnetic properties that have been preserved for over 2 millennia. The specialized nature of archaeomagnetic research requires expertise that bridges archaeology, geology, and physics, making it challenging to assemble research teams with appropriate interdisciplinary knowledge. Few archaeologists have training in electromagnetic phenomena, while physicists and geologists may lack understanding of Maya culture needed to interpret findings appropriately. Funding limitations restrict the scope and frequency of investigations at Ladanta, as electromagnetic research requires expensive equipment and extended field seasons. Competition for archaeological research grants means that unconventional investigations like archaeomagnetic studies may receive lower priority than more traditional excavation projects. Conservation challenges include protecting the integrity of magnetic materials within the pyramid structure while allowing necessary research access. Some analytical techniques require sampling of construction materials, which could potentially alter the electromagnetic properties that researchers are attempting to study. Closing reflections. In the emerald twilight of the Guatemalan rainforest, where howler monkeys call across ancient plazas and cecropia trees grow through the remains of forgotten palaces, La Danta continues to guard its electromagnetic secrets with the patience of stone and the persistence of magnetic fields that have endured for over a millennium. The magnetic anomalies embedded within La Danta's massive structure challenge fundamental assumptions about the development of scientific knowledge and the relationship between ancient wisdom and modern understanding. How could Maya builders have achieved such precise electromagnetic engineering without the theoretical framework that European science would not develop until centuries later? Perhaps the most profound mystery lies not in the technical achievement itself, but in the worldview that made such accomplishments possible. Maya civilization approached the natural world as an interconnected system where earthly and celestial phenomena were linked through relationships that could be understood, predicted, and harnessed for human purposes. The electromagnetic properties of La Danta may represent only one aspect of Maya technological sophistication that has been preserved by fortunate circumstances. How many other examples of ancient scientific achievement may have been lost to time, climate, or human destruction, leaving only scattered hints of capabilities that seemed impossible for their historical context? As magnetometer technology continues to advance and archaeological investigation techniques become more sophisticated, La Danta may eventually reveal more details about the purposes and methods behind its electromagnetic engineering. Each new measurement and analysis adds complexity to our understanding of Maya achievements, while raising fresh questions about the full extent of ancient scientific knowledge. The pyramid's magnetic mysteries serve as a reminder that human curiosity and ingenuity have always pushed against the boundaries of conventional understanding, finding ways to explore, manipulate, and harness natural forces that might seem beyond the reach of available technology. What do you think inspired the Maya to incorporate such sophisticated magnetic engineering into their monumental architecture? Could there be other ancient sites where similar electromagnetic mysteries await discovery? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more ancient mysteries that challenge our assumptions about the technological capabilities of past civilizations.